So welcome to the Art of Letting Go Masterclass. I hope that you're both keeping well. Thank you for joining me, Kim and Lucky, and hopefully someone else, other people might be joining us a bit late. Can you see my screen?
So we are.
You can, okay, that's great. Just going to make sure we don't get any interference from that. All right, so welcome to the Masterclass. My name is Jono Quail. I'll be guiding you through the next couple of hours. It's a 2-hour masterclass. So just set that intention. You're going to stay until the end because I'm going to be sharing some very valuable information. And it's really about mastering the art of letting go of any stressful thought or emotion in minutes. As I'll explain, that's really the one key skill that I think is overlooked by so many teachers and teachings. How do you let go of any stressful or fearful thought or emotion in minutes and find authentic happiness, fulfilling flow, higher purpose, and ecstatic well-being? We'll unpack all of those and explain what those mean as we go. To thrive through adversity. I think we're all experiencing some adversity in these turbulent times. So instead of feeling resistant towards it and saying, why is this happening to me? You actually embrace it as an opportunity to thrive. That's what thriving through adversity means. And how do we do this? Well, I'm going to suggest that you can tap into the transformative power of 7 ancient spiritual techniques, which I'm going to share with you. And I'll talk about how you can actually integrate those into your life in a pretty easy, seamless way. So just to give you a little overview, a bit more detail, to start with, I'm going to guide you through a simple breathing exercise to boost your immunity and your resilience. So, and just create some awareness. So just to start with, sit comfortably, back reasonably straight, close your eyes, cup your hands in your lap. And just start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. And notice that as you breathe in, your stomach should push out. Make sure that's happening. Put one hand on your stomach. And just feel the stomach rising, the chest rising, subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Take another sip of air in, pause at the top of the inhale. Just hold your breath briefly. Just notice any thoughts and emotions going on in your mind. And with the help of your breath, you're just going to let them go. So exhale out through your nose. Make a little sighing sound in the back of your throat as though you're fogging sunglasses, but you keep your mouth closed. Notice how the air flows out of your nostrils. Chest and the stomach naturally suck back in. And there's a sense of energy just subsiding back down. Raise it up with the breath and it just eases down like a wave, just breaking back into the ocean. Pause at the bottom of the exhale. Find some stillness in the gaps between breaths. Just really notice that there's some spacious awareness opening up in your mind. And then you breathe in again. Breathing in. From the nose. Notice how the stomach rises, the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Take another sip of air. And so it's a maximal inhale breath. Lungs are completely full. Pause at the top of the inhale. Smile. And just notice there's a little bit of peace, a little bit of stillness arising in your mind. It comes from just emptying your mind of all its normal thoughts. And as you exhale, just time out through your mouth. Just have a sense of letting go again, just dropping any thoughts and emotions with the help of your breath. Imagine you blowing them out like a black smoke from your mouth. And at the bottom of the exhale, pull the lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out, and just stay there for a few moments. Notice the peace and the stillness that arise at the bottom of the exhale. In these gaps between breaths, you can really start to connect in with peace and stillness. And so one more deep inhale breath. Gain in through the nose. Make sure that the stomach is pushing out. You can put your hand on the stomach. Air's flowing in through the nose. Notice the stomach rising. Chest rising. You just smile at the top of the inhale. Pause. Again, notice that there's this nice stillness, nice empty, open, spacious awareness. And you're just going to stay there while you listen. Just set the breath in motion. Nice, deep, rhythmical, diaphragmatic breaths. And that should help you stay connected to this nice, empty, open, spacious awareness, because you want to be an empty vessel. If you come to a presentation like this filled with all your own ideas and you're not really willing to empty your mind, then you're going to be blocking your own learning. So just allow these ideas that I'm going to share in. Keep watching your breath to keep you in this nice, still, calm, receptive state. And exhale. Once more, letting go. Bottom of the exhale, finding that stillness again. And just notice how you're feeling now compared with 5 minutes ago when we started this little breathwork exercise. Hopefully a lot calmer, a lot more peaceful. It's more open. And you want to stay in this state. So just use your breath, nice, deep, slow, rhythmical breaths in and out through your nose. Let's get into that pattern now. Breathing in, you pause briefly, and then you exhale. Sigh it out, make a sighing sound in the back of your throat. Air flows out of your nostrils. And you pause again at the bottom of the exhale, and then repeat the cycle. So you can gently open your eyes and just notice maybe things are a little bit lighter, a little bit clearer because you've done this exercise, and just, as I said, anchor that state in with your breath. So by watching your breath, it will keep your mind in this nice present state, which is the best state to learn, to absorb new information. So that's number one done. I've done a little breathing exercise. That, by the way, it's called diaphragmatic breathing. And it's also one of the spiritual techniques I'll be teaching, which is talking about tonight, called pranayama in the Eastern teaching. It just means breath control. That was just the start of it. So secondly, I'm going to share one secret skill that you need to master to allow your life to work miraculously. Already hinted at what that is. Then I'll talk about the 4 life-changing benefits of doing this. I'll reveal 7 stress-busting techniques to help you to master this one essential skill. I'll talk about how you can integrate practicing these techniques into your daily life in a pretty seamless way to experience all these life-changing benefits consistently. I'll guide you through a 10-step letting go process and meditation at the end of this, and I'll answer any questions. So if you have any questions as we go, feel free to ask them just by sticking something in the chat, or just unmute yourself and speak to me. So the 10-step letting go process that I mentioned, I'll guide you through this process in a 20-minute meditation. It's a really nice way to finish the session and set you up for a very peaceful night's sleep. I'll also give you the written worksheet for the process that allows you to work through this process in writing, and a half-hour recording to guide you through it. Also a chance to win a 30-minute online breath coaching session with me. So there's only 2 of you. One of you is going to win that. But the caveat is you need to stay until the very end of the session, until we say goodbye. The 10-step letting go process is over. So I hope that's incentive enough. And I think you'll find it very interesting as well. This is some very powerful information on the show. So first thing, I want to ask you a question. Why are you here today? Let's pause and maybe reflect on that a little bit. You don't have to answer it, but ask the question in your own mind. And the answer is you must be looking for something. And that something you may think you're looking for. Maybe relief from stress, anxiety, depression, and disease. If you hyphenate that, all disease comes from disease in the mind. Maybe better health, more wealth, better relationships, better quality of life and lifestyle. These are all common things that most people want in their lives, and there's nothing wrong with those. But the truth of the matter is, all of those, and what you're really doing is you're assuming that all of these things will make you something, will give you something that you're really looking for. And ultimately, what is that? So just pause again, reflect on that. What are you really looking for underneath all of these external things? And in a word, there's many words for it, but one of the better ones is happiness. It's just a feeling of being happy, being okay with life, being at peace. As I said, you could call it peace, you could call it happiness, you could call it contentment, fulfillment. It's many words that point to a state of mind that, unfortunately, in today's day and age is all too uncommon. If you ask most people, are you really happy? They'd probably say no most of the time. So the question is, why haven't you found lasting happiness yet? Okay, just ponder on that. Why haven't you found lasting happiness? And first of all, I want to say it's not your fault. I think we live in a culture, in a society where we're not encouraged to really find happiness. We're encouraged to look for some kind of temporary satisfaction, fulfillment outside of ourselves. But to find genuine, lasting, authentic happiness, as I call it, is not something that society encourages you to do. In fact, it encourages you to look in the wrong place. It encourages you to look outside of yourself, to things you can buy, to relationships, to people, places, events, circumstances. But you've been conditioned to think that you'll be happy when you have better or more of. That's how the world operates. And we have an entire economy that's geared towards that mindset. But, when you get something, you buy something new, you acquire something new, you get a new relationship, then you'll be happier. So you always need better or more of something. And those things are shown to us constantly in the media. So you might think it's a better body, better physique, more fitness, more health, and we're bombarded with these kinds of images of fit, healthy, young bodies. But of course, that fades. Age will catch up with all of us at some point, and those fit, healthy, young bodies that we identified with become not so fit, old, often falling apart and sick. So if you're attached to your body, that's not a lasting source of happiness. That's fairly obvious. You might look to material things, a nice car, for instance, nice clothes, stuff you can buy. But all of that, again, that doesn't last. Cars break down. Clothes go out of fashion, they age. None of these things last. It might be the dream house you're looking for. Okay, well, when I get the dream house, then I'll be happy. It's a lifestyle that you want, but houses can go up in flames. Houses cost money to insure. And just because you're living in a dream house doesn't mean that you're happy. In fact, some of the unhappiest people are some of the wealthiest people, called celebrities. And they have everything money can buy, but they're still not happy. And it might be travel that's your thing. It might be wanting to travel, to get out. And if that's the case, the last year is going to be difficult for you because we've all been restricted in our ability to travel. And so that's not lasting either. And often travel is an escape. I'm not saying it's not a good idea to have a holiday, but if you're relying on that for happiness, then obviously you're going to be disappointed by your normal life. Your normal life is not going to fulfill you. And obviously so we like to go out, maybe you like to go out and have nice experiences, nice dinners, but that can turn as well. It's very easy for any relationship you're relying on it for your happiness to turn and then become a source of unhappiness. As anyone who's been in a relationship with a member of the opposite or the same sex, a special relationship or a romantic relationship, will testify it's not always rosy. And so to remedy this, you might be looking at, you might have read a number of these books. I certainly have. Personal development industry is $1 billion industry. Books, there's teachers, and I'll help you fix your life. I'll help you find a better way to live your life, to be happier. And again, I'm not knocking these. They have their place. But if you're looking for the answer in books alone, you're not going to find it. In fact, often you can't see the wood for the trees because you get so locked into intellectual ideas and concepts that you can't see beyond that. So it's really about application of these ideas into your life. You may have been to seminars like this, Tony Robbins, that is. I've actually been to one of these, which looked exactly the same. It was in London, 4,000 people, and they were all going absolutely mad on a Saturday night. And it's like, okay, is this a rock concert or is this personal growth? It was an interesting experience, but I didn't think that was the answer to sustainable happiness. Everyone got very high, but you can imagine when they went back on Monday morning that perhaps there was something of a come down and they had to face the reality of their lives and their problems on their own without all the hype and the razzmatazz of a specially laid on event. And then, a lot of people look to substances, whether it's pills or alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, to try and numb their pain, really. And we have a $1 trillion industry called the pharmaceutical industry that's designed around that. But the truth is, if you're relying on any kind of substance, you're going to have a come down. So, every high leads to a corresponding low, and it's not any addict will tell you that this is not a path to lasting happiness. In fact, it's a roller coaster ride that leads to more unhappiness and happiness. Maybe psychotherapy. Many people have gone to psychotherapy, to psychologists, psychiatrists, and tried that route. And often they spend years in therapy without really getting anywhere. They're just talking about the same stuff over and over again, talking about their past. And obviously it's a business model for the therapist. So there's a lot of money that's made in these industries. And Course in Miracles, which I'm going to talk about in more detail as we go on, talks about all mental illness being some form of external searching. So all of these things that you think will make you happy is really just a form of external searching, and that, as the Course teaches, is a mental illness. If you're desiring something that's outside of you, then how can you ever be happy with who you are? There's always going to be something outside of you that you think is going to fulfill you. In fact, the Buddha, great spiritual master, taught that desire is the source of all suffering. This is just saying it in a slightly different form. So if you desire something external to you, what you're really saying is, I'm not good enough as I am. I'm not okay as I am. And so that just entrenches your unhappiness. So this is where you will never find happiness. You'll never find happiness externally. I took that photo over the festive season. Happiness is 18 days of festive deals, which made me laugh. And so what happens after the festive season? Then your happiness disappears. And a lady called Laurie Santos from the Happiness Lab, who had over 20 million downloads of their content during the lockdown over the last year, says this: we often think we know what will make us happy. The science shows us our minds don't always point us in the right direction. We long for fame and money, or a beach body, or a new car, exactly the things I've just shown you. And we expect these things will make us happier. And the research shows there's just that those expectations are flat out wrong, that those things are not going to make us happy. And this is scientifically proven in many research studies, that something external to you is not going to make you happy sustainably. You might get a temporary thrill from it, a little bit of a satisfaction, but that doesn't last. It quickly fades. And then, of course, you need more. You need better or more of that or of something else. And that's really the ego's mantra, is seek and really don't find the answer. Because happiness is not a goal in itself. You can't really seek for happiness. It's an intangible. So this is one of my favorite quotes about happiness. It's a butterfly, which when pursued is always just beyond your grasp, but which, if you will sit down quietly, may come and alight on you. It's the golden key to prosperity and happiness. From 1885. So someone says this is all New Age. No, it's not New Age. It's been going on a very long time. In fact, this goes back as long as recorded history goes back. The search for happiness, the search for meaning, is really has been man's underlying search for our entire existence. And this quote just gives us a simple answer. It's saying, just sit down quietly, and then it will come and alight on you. It may come and alight on you, but you've got a far better chance of that happening than if you're seeking it externally. Because by the seeking, the very seeking, you're saying it's something outside of me. It's something I'm going to attain in the future. And so that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But you just sit down quietly, which is otherwise known as meditation, and you just experience a little bit of that. Maybe you felt a little bit of what you could call happiness, some more peace coming into your mind, some awareness, whatever you want to call that feeling. It's not really a wow, I'm on a high necessarily. It's just I'm in a very kind of contented state. Words don't really do it justice. You can call that state happiness or contentment or inner peace. It doesn't really matter what you call it. What matters is that you experience it consistently. And when you do experience it, you will know that you experience it. Happiness is not a theoretical goal. It's something to be experienced moment by moment, which is what all the great spiritual teachings and teachers have taught. And they pointed us to look within. So that this is a scene from the movie The Matrix. You might recognize it. It's when Neo, who's the hero of the story, that's the back of his head, is in the Oracle's room, and she's talking to him. She asks him, you know what that means, that sign, Temet Noske, which means know thyself. in Latin. So this has been the instruction, the call of every great spiritual teacher, to know oneself. As another teacher, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who's professor of psychology and an author of many books on this concept of flow, says, to know oneself is the first step toward making flow a part of one's entire life. But just as there is no free lunch in the material economy, nothing comes free in the psychic one. If one is not willing to invest psychic energy in the internal reality of consciousness, and instead squanders it in chasing external rewards, one loses mastery of one's life, ends up becoming a puppet of circumstances. So very well said. Just putting into words what almost every great spiritual teacher has said. You're not going to find it outside of you. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within. Buddha said, find nirvana in your own mind. Squandering your consciousness, your psychic energy and chasing external rewards is a way to end up as a victim of life and become a puppet of circumstances. And I think that's been the case for many people who have this mindset over the last year. They've suffered because circumstances have turned in a rather unfavorable direction, like with the coronavirus and lockdowns and stuff. And so then your state of mind and your happiness is dependent on these circumstances, which in the good times might seem to be okay, but inevitably those times don't last. Things turn around and you are going to be challenged by life. Eckhart Tolle says, life is not designed to make you happy. It's designed to challenge you, to wake you up to who you really are. So what is the cause of unhappiness? Well, it becomes fairly obvious from these quotes what it must be, and I've already mentioned it. It's some kind of external searching. When you feel like you are somehow deficient in yourself, that you are not good enough, then you must search externally to yourself. You must search outside for an answer. But the answer lies within you. It lies in an awareness of who you really are and the worth that you really have. And therein lies the key to happiness. The key to happiness is inner peace. Mental health is inner peace. It enables you simply to remain unshaken by lack of love from without, and capable through your own miracles of correcting the external conditions which proceed from lack of love in others. That's again from A Course in Miracles. So it's the opposite. It's inner peace. You're not seeking for anything outside of yourself. You're just finding peace right here, right now, in your own mind. And that enables you to remain unshaken by lack of love from outside of you, and also capable through your own miracles of correcting the external conditions which proceed from lack of love in others. So you can actually help to change other people's minds as well. This is what working miracles really means. So how do you do this? Well, as Charles Glassman said, happiness often relies on one character trait, and that's self-discipline. It's just the willingness to discipline yourself, to discipline your mind. And what does that actually entail? Self-discipline to do what? Well, in a word, to let go of any negative thought, emotion. So I hyphenated that because a thought leads to an emotion, and emotions lead to more thoughts. So it's often very difficult to distinguish between the two. It's a movement of your mind, a thought emotion, I call it. As these thought emotions arise, you need to just let them go if they're negative, so that you can experience authentic happiness. I mentioned that already. This is happiness, a deeper happiness, a permanent happiness, something that's not reliant on the externals. So the first principle of authentic happiness is that happiness or unhappiness is always experienced in your own mind. Secondly, only your own negative thoughts and feelings can make you unhappy. And that's true, not anything else. A lot of people say, well, you made me unhappy, or this situation made me unhappy. But actually it's their own reaction to it made them unhappy. It's their own negative thoughts and feelings about that situation, person, place, circumstance, or event that make them unhappy. Even if it's apparently awful, apparently terrible, it's still their own interpretation of it that makes them unhappy. Therefore, because those first two premises are true, learning how to let go of your negative thoughts and emotions must be the key to your happiness. If any one of those two is not true, then this wouldn't hold. But these are true. You just look objectively at your own experience of life. You'll see that these two things are true. Happiness is always experienced in my own mind, and it's only my own negative thoughts and feelings that can make me unhappy. So that's key benefit number one of mastering this, what I call the art of letting go. And this is the one essential skill that I mentioned, and getting into the benefits of it now. The second benefit is fulfilling flow. So if you have this authentic happiness as your underlying base state, and you're able to let go of negative thoughts and emotions quickly, then you can stay calm and poised and able to enjoy each moment. Even in challenging situations, you can remain calm and poised. And that's really what we need to learn in order to stay happy, because life changes all the time, and life is going to challenge you at times. And if you can stay calm and poised and able to enjoy each moment, even the challenging moments, then you can take positive effective action to respond rather than react to any situation appropriately. And if you can do this, you become highly effective in the world. You're able to do things that most people can't do, because you've managed your mental and emotional state to start with, and then you've translated that into positive effective action. So your thoughts and emotions guide your words and your actions. So that's key benefit number two, is this idea of fulfilling flow. And when you're in this state, it's a very fulfilling state. You can handle problems and difficulties with ease. It's very fulfilling. In fact, more than if life is just always easy. You get challenged and you manage to deal with it. So let's just dive a little bit deeper into this idea of flow. I'm going to ask the world's leading expert on Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi what he thinks about it. He said it's when we act freely for the sake of the action itself, rather than for ulterior motives, do we learn to become more than what we were. So it's just being able to act freely, not having any agenda, not having a specific goal. And we often experience that in times when we're just relaxing, we're playing. There's a little picture of a father playing with his daughter, presumably, and just enjoying the moment. There's no ulterior motive, there's no end goal. It's just being in the moment. And you can do that even in situations where apparently there's an outcome to be achieved. Then you can access the state called flow, which is very free, feels very light, and it's actually much more effective. You perform at a much higher level when you're in flow. And key to higher purpose and ecstatic well-being, which is our benefits 3 and 4. So authentic happiness leads to flow in every aspect of your life. And that leads you to a healthy, meaningful, what I call extraordinary, ordinary life. So it doesn't mean that you're necessarily doing extraordinary things on the level of form, that you're necessarily making a lot of money or winning world titles or doing anything that anyone go, wow, that's an extraordinary achievement. You're living your life, you're doing what you're doing. But it's extraordinary for you because it's filled with miraculous experiences and results. And those miraculous experiences are really just love and peace and joy experienced moment by moment. So, and often when challenged, when you could have reacted negatively, you turn that situation around and you find the positive and you find happiness, irrespective. You find happiness and flow. So that's what I mean by higher purpose. And ecstatic well-being is really just a sense of being really well moment by moment. You can have these moments of actual ecstasy. You're just like, wow, this is just so amazing. And I don't need anything external to me. I'm just experiencing the ecstasy of being in tune with who I really am and being in the flow of life and allowing this life force, this life essence to come through me and direct me. And that is ecstatic. You don't need anything else. So those are key benefits 3 and 4. So just to summarize, the 4 keys to what I call an extraordinary ordinary life are authentic happiness, which is really how to let go of any negative thoughts or emotions, no matter how challenging the situation provoking them seems to be. So the skill, that's the skill you need to cultivate to have authentic happiness. Number 2 is the key to fulfilling flow. So this is really about remaining poised and enjoying the moment while taking positive, effective action to respond to any situation appropriately. Benefits 3 and 4, the key to higher purpose and ecstatic well-being, rely on the first 2. So if you can be happy and you can be in flow in every aspect of your life, then you will tend to live a healthy, meaningful, extraordinary, ordinary life filled with miraculous experiences and results. And the purpose of your life is to experience that. So your purpose unfolds in just experiencing happiness and flow and in feeling ecstatically well. There's your purpose. You don't have to achieve anything or accomplish anything. You just have to be inspired by life and allow it to bring you this experience of a sense of higher purpose and ecstatic well-being. So can you see why letting go is really the critical skill? Because that's where it all starts. Letting go leads to authentic happiness, which leads to a sense of fulfilling flow, and those create the foundation for fulfillment, sense of higher purpose, and ecstatic well-being. If you can't let go, then you're not going to be happy very often, because your negativity is going to block your happiness. If you're not happy, you can't find flow. You're just going to grind your way through life and try and find some kind of meaning and satisfaction in your external accomplishments and possessions and so on. And your fulfillment, any kind of sense of higher purpose and well-being disappears. In fact, if you can't let go, sooner or later, you're probably going to experience the opposites of these, which is a very unhappy, unfulfilled state, no sense of purpose, kind of apathy and sickness and disease, which comes from disease in your mind. And we've seen a lot of that over the last year, and I think it's really just a manifestation of a lot of unconscious thinking and people not being able to let go and really allow happiness and flow to come into their lives. And then that manifests in diseases like the so-called coronavirus, which I don't believe exists as such. I think it's an effect of disease in the mind, and that's playing out on a mass scale. So how can I learn to let go and find my flow? Might be the next question. Can I learn something hopefully over the last 45 minutes or so? How do I do this? How can I learn to let go and find my flow? Well, learning new information is necessary if you don't already know that information, but it's not a sufficient step for a true transformation of mind to happen. True transformation means that you're actually able to experience these things for yourself. They're not concepts. They are learned in experience. And there are 2 ways to do this, to this true transformation. First one is through intense pain and suffering. You are forced to go within and break through suddenly to a new level of understanding and wisdom. And that I call the way of the cross. That has traditionally been the way a lot of people do it. You experience a lot of pain, you get to a point of crisis, of breakdown, and then maybe you break through. Sometimes you don't. Some people don't, and they just end up stuck in that crisis. An example of someone who did that was Eckhart Tolle. Probably know him. He's one of the world's better known spiritual teachers. And until the age of 29, he was really an unhappy, very anxious type of person. And at some point, it just got too much. One night, he was lying in bed and just like, I can't stand myself, he thought. And then somehow the intensity of his suffering split his mind, and just that thought took him into what he called the vortex, and just passed out and woke up the next morning and just saw everything differently. It was just like his ego and all that pain and suffering that went with it had dropped, and he could see the light, and he hasn't looked back. That experience then created the platform for a new career. He's become a very well-known author and spiritual teacher. But he had to suffer a lot in those first 29 years. And the second way, which I would recommend, is through conscious, disciplined practice of spiritual ideas and techniques. You can systematically grow in understanding and wisdom. This is called the way of mastery. And there are many spiritual paths and many teachings that can help you to do this, which have spiritual ideas and techniques. And I'm going to propose some of them tonight to actually be able to apply this. So this isn't just something you go, I learned some new information. It's actually something you act on, and you start to practice these spiritual ideas and techniques and apply them to your life. So it's really about understanding and realization through personal experience. It does require your active willingness and disciplined effort. You're not going to achieve mastery by just going, oh, well, I've learned a few new concepts. It's an ongoing process, and it does require disciplined effort. So doing key spiritual practices, what I call key spiritual practices, regularly is essential, because that's where the rubber meets the road. That's how you actually do this. That's where the ideas become a felt experience as you're doing these practices. And that's how transformation really works. So this can be greatly facilitated by another person or group who help to raise the initiate consciousness. They use transformational or alchemical language there. If you decide to go down a path like this, a spiritual path, you become an initiate by your own election. It's not like you're initiated into any cult or anything. You're choosing by doing these practices to initiate yourself into a higher consciousness, into a higher way of living and being. And this can be greatly facilitated by another person. So often that's a teacher, or it's called a guru in the East, and a group. So people who are in a group and they're practicing these kinds of things together often report that there's a lot of positive energy, and this can help them to raise their own energy and also hold them accountable. So some kind of accountability when you're doing things as a group process. And immersion in these key spiritual practices and in a positive field of consciousness can greatly accelerate it. So that's why I recommend you do these spiritual practices, and that you do it in a group, because the positive field of consciousness can really help you, give you a turbo boost, so to speak. So these are 7 key spiritual practices. These are the 7 ancient techniques that I promised to reveal, just translated into practices. So these include breathwork techniques. So you already experienced some of this. Pranayama, it's called, breath control. In Sanskrit, that means. There's also asanas. That's just a posture. So if you're familiar with yoga, it's yoga asanas, but actually asana was originally coined because it was a meditation posture, which would allow you to then practice things like breathwork and meditation. And pratyahara, which means withdrawal of the senses. So when you do these things, you tend to withdraw the senses from the external world, as you experience when we did that little breathwork exercise to start with. Then what I call multi-dimensional meditation. So that's meditation, but with a little twist. So I try and incorporate things like breathwork and things like sounds, kinesthetics, touching, toning with your own voice, breathing, visualization. All of these things create a multi-dimensional aspect to meditation. to really help your mind to focus on something. All of meditation is just about letting go of your normal way of thinking. So it's about giving the mind something else to do. And we have different ways of paying attention. Some people are more kinesthetic, that's feeling oriented. Some are more visual, and some are more auditory. And so by incorporating these elements, kinesthetic, auditory, and visual elements into a meditation, you make it more effective for anyone, because they can focus on the modality and the mantra that works for them. So that's in a nutshell what multidimensional meditation is. And there's what A Course in Miracles calls forgiveness, what I call letting go. It's really 6 of one and half a dozen of another. They're the same thing. Forgiveness is just misunderstood often. There's also a traditional Christian interpretation of what that means. Whereas letting go isn't that easily misunderstood. It's like, well, I'm letting go of my stuff. I'm letting go of my thoughts and emotions. And it actually describes what you're doing. You're dropping that energy. You're letting go of the thoughts and emotions and the energy that goes with that. And so in the Eastern teachings and in the science of yoga, these were called yama, niyama, and pratyahara. So there's a sense of letting go of habits that you don't want, of observing much better habits, and pratyahara is withdrawing the senses from, withdrawing your mind from attachment to the physical senses, which is letting go of your attachment to the world. Then the fourth one is group discussion sessions. So this is a very powerful technique that I've used a lot, and it's about creating that group energy. People come into a group, and especially when there's discussion going on, they feed off each other's energy and they learn from each other. It's also a lot more interactive, and so it engages them more than if it's just a monologue. And fifth one is reading or listening to spiritual texts. So that's also part of the niyama, part of yoga. And there's a subsection to that called svajaya, which is really about listening, reading. In the ancient texts, it was reading, but now we have audio, we have technology. So you can listen, you can do it in a group, we can do it online. The technology just really takes these ancient spiritual teachings and allows us to do them more quickly and more easily and more effectively. And then you have fasting and abstinence. So that might mean fasting from food, but it's also fasting or abstaining from habits that are not good for you. So that might be personal habits like drinking, smoking. It might be refraining from speaking in a certain way, swearing, or and so on. And those are also part of the yogic practice of yama and niyama, where you let go of certain unclean habits and you observe certain practices that are healthier for your mind, your body, and your spirit. And then finally, an end of day reflection. And again, it's not quite unknown. An end of day reflection is a spiritual practice, but it's a form of meditation, really. But it's specific. It's contemplation. So you're actually contemplating, reflecting on your day, and incorporating a lot of these yogic principles, the 7 limbs of yoga, asana. So you're sitting, pranayama, you're breathing, withdrawing the senses, dharana. It's the first stage of meditation where you focus on something. So just by focusing on a few questions, you bring your mind into focused awareness, and that's a good state to start this deeper contemplation. And so those are the 7 key spiritual practices that I recommend. If you do those regularly, and I'm not just talking about once in a while, it's on a daily basis, then you're going to be following the way of mastery. And these 7 things lead to enlightenment, which is the 8th limb of yoga, which they call samadhi, which really just means a sameness of mind. It means that your mind is undisturbed by whatever's going on in the external environment, and that you perceive everyone and everything as the same. So you see the underlying truth, the essence of everything. You don't make these artificial distinctions based on the idea of separation. So you see only love, would be a way of putting it. And that is the enlightened state. That's what Jesus saw, that's what Buddha saw. They saw only love everywhere. They overlooked all the false appearances of the world, and they saw to the very core, the very essence of reality, which is love. And that is, it's not a technique, it's a state of mind, a state of being. But you need the practices and the techniques to get there. And if you're not there yet, then how do you get there? Well, this is what I'm going to suggest, is that you do the Art of Letting Go course that I've developed and that I facilitate. It's a facilitated 6-week mind and life transformation process. It's based on the way of mastery that I just explained, the yogic principles, 7 limbs of yoga, and this idea of immersion learning, that if you can just immerse yourself into a process like this in quite a deep way for 6 weeks, you will get far more benefit than if you just do an hour a week here and there. And your growth in 6 weeks can be enormous. And I've seen that over and over. I've run this course a number of times. I've seen that this really does work. If, of course, you commit to it. If you don't do anything, then nothing's going to happen. But if you really allow me to facilitate and guide you through this immersion learning process, then the growth, the spiritual growth that you can experience in 6 weeks is quite extraordinary. So it incorporates these 7 key spiritual practices I just mentioned and the 7 limbs of yoga. And it includes live and recorded daily online meditations and discussion sessions, a 1-week breathwork course, self-study and solo meditation. And the goal is really to help you to learn to let go of fearful, stressful thoughts. They're really the same thing. Fear and stress go hand in hand. To let go of these fearful, stressful thoughts and emotions whenever they arise, so you can start consistently experiencing, and these are the key benefits I mentioned earlier, authentic happiness, so something that's lasting and sustainable, because you'll know how to let go of any negative thoughts or emotions, no matter how challenging the situation, provoking them appears to be, and choose to be happy instead, because it is a conscious choice in every moment. Happiness can be chosen, irrespective of what's happening. So a little case study in this. This is a guy by the name of Phil, who's in his 80s, and he did the first Art of Letting Go course I ever ran. He was an existing Course in Miracles student, and he said, I've learned more about the course, what he referred to there was a Course in Miracles, in the last 6 weeks than in the last 27 years of studying. So he'd been studying for 27 years prior to that. I'd only been studying for about half that length of time, so I was under a bit of pressure. But it's not really about the length of time you studied something. It's about the depth of your understanding. And he said that learning how to forgive truly was the key benefit that he got from the course after 27 years of studying a course which is really about this idea of forgiveness. The entire course is designed to teach you one key skill, which is forgiveness or letting go. So a little bit more about A Course in Miracles in case you're not familiar with it. So it's a book, as you can see, with a text of about 670 pages, explaining in detail the principles and philosophy on which the course is based. There's also a workbook, 488 pages of that, made up of 365 daily lessons, so a lesson for every day of the year. It's designed to systematically train your mind how to let go of its negativity and allow you to live in a miraculous state of mind. And that miraculous state of mind I call flow. If you're feeling happy and peaceful and loving consistently, you're in a miraculous state of mind, and that corresponds with the definition of flow. So they're just terms that point to the same, really, the inner state, as Jesus himself says in the course. It's a universal experience of truth that's necessary. Universal theology is impossible, but universal experience, not only possible, but necessary. And then there's a manual for teachers, which is around 92 pages with some additional guidance and clarification of terms in a Q&A format. So how did it come about? Well, it was transmitted by Jesus, who identified himself as such, to an American professor of psychology in New York City named Helen Schuckman between 1965 and 1972. So quite an interesting story as to how this came about. Her and her colleague, professor of the department at the College of Physicians and Surgeons, was the psychology department of that in New York City, affiliated to Columbia University. And there was a lot of conflict in that department, a lot of ego going on, a lot of conflict, a lot of backstabbing. And so they were on their way to a disciplinary hearing, driving in the car, and Bill was just fed up with it. And he just said, I'm tired of this. There must be a better way than all this conflict. And he shared that with Helen. He'd had a lot of conflict with himself. And she agreed with him. She said, yes, I agree with you. And I'll help you to find it. And so that was an invitation. In that moment, there was a meeting of minds, a joining of minds in a common purpose to find a better way. And very soon after that, Helen started to have these very vivid dreams where Jesus featured. She saw herself as a white priestess. And that preceded this voice that started speaking to her in October of that year of 1965. This voice came into her mind and said, well, this is the Course in Miracles, please take notes. And she was pretty freaked out by this. So she phoned Bill and said, what do you think I should do? And he said, well, why don't you just write down what it says and bring in your notes in the morning and we'll take a look at it. And so that's what she did. And when Bill read it, he said, well, no disrespect, Helen, but this didn't come from you. And she said, yes, I know. That's what freaks me out. This is a voice speaking to me. And, he's identified himself as Jesus. Am I going mad? And this was how the course started and how it continued. This voice gave this, she called a rapid kind of inner dictation to her over a period of 7 years. She would write it down. She'd take it into Bill. She'd read it out and he'd type it up. And that's how the Course in Miracles was written over 7 years. It was published in 1976. Which was also a miraculous story as to how they got the money to do that. But that's a story for another time. So it's a systematic mind training course to teach you a radically different way of thinking about and perceiving everything from a non-dual perspective. Non-dual means not two. It means that instead of duality, the world of opposites that we see, you perceive it from a perspective of oneness. And that is what non-dual means. And that is radically different. Most of the way you've thought and you've acted and you've behaved in your entire life has been based on duality, opposites. I want this, but I fear I won't have it. We're guided by these opposites, hot and cold, up and down, light and dark. This is the world of duality we seem to live. And this is trying to train our mind to see it differently from a perspective of oneness. And that we only see that oneness, irrespective of what the dualistic appearances seem to be. So it's designed to teach you how to forgive or let go of every false and therefore negative, because false and negative are the same thing. Every false or negative belief, thought, and emotion that causes you and others to suffer. So it's pretty comprehensive. It's not saying, well, you can have a little bit of falsity. It's saying you're going to let go of all of this. The only way you're going to find truth is if you let go of every false belief, thought, idea, emotion. And in doing that, you drop all of your suffering. You let go of all of your suffering. And you become the light of the world, as Jesus said. You're able then to help other people to let go of their suffering as well. And this becomes a spiritual path if you follow it. Spiritual path that will allow you to live happily, peacefully, and lovingly. And all of that I call miraculously or in flow in the world, and ultimately escape this world entirely. That's the objective of the course. It's saying there is another reality. This is a version of what's called the perennial philosophy, which has gone with humanity since the dawn of time. There have been teachers, masters, gurus, avatars who have They've said the same thing. There is another reality. There is something beyond this world. And ultimately, you can escape this world and go to that reality. While you're doing that, you can live happily, peacefully, and lovingly. All of that I call miraculously or in flow in the world. And that's what Jesus meant when he said to be in the world, but not of the world. So some well-known students and teachers of the course, a lady called Marianne Williamson, who actually was trying to become president of the United States. You can see that banner in the background. She was trying to be the Democratic candidate. As you know, she failed. But she was trying. She was trying to make a difference in her own way. So she's been teaching the course for many years. She wrote a book called The Return to Love. It was a bestseller, which influenced Nelson Mandela. So when he came out of prison, he quoted from that book. I'll share that quote with you at the end of this presentation. So a lot of people think it was from him, but actually it was Marianne Williamson. So he was, I don't know whether he studied the course itself, but he was certainly influenced indirectly by its ideas and by people like Marianne Williamson. Oprah Winfrey, it's another one. She's studied the course. Deepak Chopra also studied the course, teaches the course. Wayne Dyer in his latter years got very much into the course. Eckhart Tolle has started teaching from the course. And there's me. I'm not very well known at the moment, but I thought this was a good opportunity just to talk a little bit about who I am. So, and that's I won't talk about the metaphysics of that because it's not really a question I can answer. Who am I? I'll just talk about my journey that's brought me here for a couple of minutes, just so you have a better idea. So there I am as a young professional squash player. I decided that after going to university for 4 years that I really didn't want to be an accountant, and so I pursued my dream, decided to play squash full time, much to the horror of my parents. That opened me up to just an alternative path. I went to the UK. I learned to meditate, to try and improve my squash. And at some point, I came back in the early 2000s. At some point, I started Life Build with a friend because I felt this calling to teach some of what I'd learned. And over the next few years, I taught some of these principles, including Course in Miracles principles, in small groups or workshops. That was a workshop in Mozambique. Kim, you actually attended one of those, so you might be familiar with that setting. I then got an opportunity to go over to the UK in 2013 actually was, to help a friend launch a new business. And something in me said, take it, although it took me away from what I was doing, teaching. Something in me said, there's a bigger picture. This will help you ultimately to grow your business and get where you want to go. And so I left, and in the process, I met my wife. And she was my girlfriend and fiancée then. She's now become my wife in England, which caused me to move over there permanently. So I moved over in 2016. That's me teaching a breathwork class in Shaftesbury, where we moved to in North Dorset, southwest of London. I also started a new career, went into financial services, started doing capital raising as a result of this experience in London, and I went into the card payment industry as well. And I felt like, although those things were valuable, there was some valuable life experiences, I felt like I'd somehow lost my way. In 2019, June 2019, so about 3 years ago, I remember having a chat with my wife and saying, I want to teach the truth. I want to teach these ideas, and I haven't done that for apart from a few sessions once a week. I'd run a class and run a couple of workshops. I hadn't really done it. So we decided that we're going to do this online. We're going to take the business online, make it into a business, And out of that was born the Art of Letting Go course, which I ran as a trial version in 2019. I've run it a number of times subsequently, and every time I run it, I improve it. To try to help people to really break through into another level, which is exactly what helped me do that. I had a difficult time in the UK, but it really did help me to transform my mind and my life. Although it was difficult, I wouldn't change it. And there I am with my little boy on the beach. Not last December, about 14 months ago. I'm currently in South Africa awaiting a visa. I'm trying to get back to the UK. So who knows where I'll be in the next few months, but it doesn't matter, because wherever I am, the truth goes with me, and this course is run online, so I can do it from anywhere. So that's a little bit about me and how I come to be doing this work. Just back to Phil, we took a bit of a digression there, but I hope it was useful and valuable information for you. We had a major breakthrough on the last day of the Art of Letting Go course after doing something called holotropic breathing, which I'll talk more about now. And he wrote this email to me on the last day of the course, where anyway explained that he had this kind of cathartic experience. He said he'd always had some kind of issue with his parents, although they were lovely parents, as he explained. He somehow thought that particularly his mother, wasn't good enough, although she was really a bright lady, and she did book reviews in the town. She taught high school English. She had a weekly column in the main newspaper in the town where I lived. He wanted her to be something else, God only knows what. And during the replay of the holotropic breathing, he listened to some of the music. He just had a catharsis. He broke down. He let go, basically. He let go of this issue that he'd held on to his entire life. He was 80 at the time, so probably 70 odd years. And he just let it all go, and he sobbed his heart out. And in that long moment, he was able to forgive himself and ask his parents for their forgiveness. As he said, I've been carrying this baggage around all my life at a huge cost. So that's the kind of breakthrough that can happen when you do this kind of work. And that happened at the end of the entire process. It was a culmination of 6 weeks of work. And the holotropic breathing was just a catalyst for that. Another case study is a lady called Hazel. Hazel's also in her late 70s. And she did exercise 9. It's one of the exercises in the course manual that you'll get if you do the course. And the beauty of Zoom is you can actually split out into groups, subgroups. So I split everyone into subgroups. We did the session online. She did it with another lady called Mbali. And this was her testimonial. She experienced a feeling of expanding energy radiating from her heart center, which I've never experienced before. And she felt like pure love, which was exhilarating to the point of me being wide awake all night. What a stunning experience, which will stay with me for the rest of my life. So, that's what I mean by ecstatic. You can actually have ecstatic experiences, moments of ecstasy where you just touch another reality, another dimension, which she called pure love. So the second benefit is fulfilling flow in your daily life. So it's about knowing how to remain poised and enjoy the moment while taking positive, harmonious action to respond to any situation effectively. And I'll give you an example of that from my own experience. So as I mentioned, I was a professional squash player pretty early in my squash career. Just in fact, the first year when I turned professional, I put a lot of pressure on myself. I remember getting very obsessed about winning, and because I was now professional, I needed to get the results. But the game is played on a court, not on paper, and it takes time to really improve your game. You're not just suddenly going to go to another level. It takes sometimes years of disciplined training to get there. So I remember one day I was due to play a guy in my club. There were two teams in the first league in Johannesburg. Transvaal First League was then called. And so he was my opposite number. And I'd lost to him a couple of months earlier in the club champs. And so I was really nervous. I mean, just being really, like, you know, a lot of anxiety because I was scared I'd lose. And I didn't want to be humiliated in front of the entire club, because obviously everyone would be there watching. So the outcome was taking me out of flow. Really. I didn't fully understand at the time, but I did understand that I needed to relax. So I went out for a walk late afternoon. It was an evening match with the dog, and I remember chatting to my sister, and she just said, "Well, why don't you just enjoy it? You know, relax and enjoy it. Just, you know, play like you used to play when you were a kid. You started playing squash because you enjoyed it." It really struck a chord with me. It's easier said than done. Something in me just said, well, just let go. Just don't even think about how you're going to play. Just blank your mind. And I managed to do that for the next few hours until I finally went on court at about 9 o'clock. And I played amazingly. I just played this amazing squash, which is well described in this quote from Eckhart Tolle. It describes really exactly what I experienced that night. Artistic creation, sports, dance, teaching, counseling, mastery in any field of endeavor, he says, implies that the thinking mind is either no longer involved at all, or at least is taking second place. A power and intelligence greater than you, and yet one with you in essence, takes over. There is no decision-making process anymore. Spontaneous right action happens. And, quote, you are not doing it. Mastery of life is the opposite of control. You become aligned with the greater consciousness. It acts, speaks, and does the works. And I felt exactly that. It wasn't really me doing it. It just happened through me. And I remember just kind of being amazed and almost observing this happening. I was totally in flow, but I was still able to observe it. And I wasn't in control. It wasn't me who was doing it, who was playing. It just happened through me, a greater consciousness, as you described it. And so I had a sense then, a very experiential taste of what it means to let go. And I think that changed my life. It certainly changed my squash career. I never went back into that same level of fear. That flow stayed with me for the rest of my career. Not maybe quite to that extent, but there was always an element of it where I could just let go and play for the joy of playing and let the result take care of itself. And I think that experience then was part of the spiritual awakening that I subsequently went through. Opened my mind to another dimension, really, of experience. And so key benefit number 3 is higher purpose. As you'll start experiencing more happiness and flow in every aspect of your life. And you find higher purpose and meaning in all your daily activities. It's not about needing to do something to have a purpose. It's finding purpose and meaning simply because you're happy and you're in flow in your daily life. There's your higher purpose and the meaning of life right there. So you're not looking to anything outside of you, to something in the future to give you a purpose. It's moment by moment. You're living your purpose by being happy and in flow. So a little case study on that. This is a guy by the name of Vim, who did the first Arts of Letting Go course I ran. And a couple of weeks into it, he posted this on the Facebook group. Just an experience where he'd played a social match of tennis and got extremely frustrated and irritated with himself because he really wanted to win. And he allowed that irritation to escalate and snowball. So he forced points, he made lots of mistakes, and the whole match really was a very unpleasant experience. But if you've ever experienced something like that in sport, you'll know what it feels like. It's not pleasant, particularly in an individual sport, because there's nowhere to hide. And so he just reflected on and said, you know, all of this was just really my ego trying to hijack my mind. And I got angry. And so I struggle with my temper at times. Ego knows how to push my buttons. Says, I think there will be defeats along the way, but I mustn't harbor guilt. I must forgive the circumstances and stay in the present. So I then shared this experience I just shared with you with him in one of our discussion sessions, and I taught him the breathing that I taught you. And to his credit, he applied it. And the next week, he played the same guy, and he had a completely different experience, a transformed experience, where he centered himself, he breathed, and he experienced peace. He played a lot better, and he actually won the match. But he said it wasn't really about the winning. It was about the flow of it. He said, I really enjoyed it. I was at peace. I experienced God's pleasure in me. That's the way he described it. He's a chaplain in the army, and he's a Course in Miracles student. So it was like this pleasure coming through him, just experiencing through him. And he said, I also learned that I can choose to let go of anger, which doesn't work, and be at peace instead. So all the elements of flow are really in that. He experienced flow, pleasure in the moment, and he also learned something powerful about himself, that he could let go of anger and find a different self, a different play with a different self, and have a totally different experience. And then key benefit number 4 is ecstatic well-being. So you'll start experiencing more happiness and flow in every aspect of your life, and living an extraordinary, ordinary life gives you and others miraculous experiences and results regularly. So here's a little case study in that. Robin, who did the first course that I ran, and this is what she had to say. That was some of her feedback. Totally satisfied with the Art of Letting Go course, and she found it very helpful in helping her to find happiness, flow, fulfillment, and purpose in her daily life. Extremely helpful. And this was her key comment. She said, it helped me to experience more peace, less anxiety, to sleep better. She got off painkillers, and she hasn't gone back. Simply not dependent on drugs anymore. She had better relationships with her children, and not as frightened or worried. So pretty comprehensive transformation in all of that. And I'll let her tell you. This was a video that she kindly recorded for me about 9 months after the course finished. So just to show you that this is a sustainable change. This has put her on a different wavelength. It's changed her life, and she's now on a spiritual path. She studies A Course in Miracles. So that course really did change her life. And I'll let her tell you about it for the next few minutes. And I'm just going to go and take a little break.
Hi, my name's Robin. I did the course last year with Jonathan. I'd never heard of the course before. Something entirely different to me, although I've been practicing meditation. I've been going to breathworks for some time, trying genuinely to find peace. I'm a mum, I work, I've got a normal busy life. I've been plagued with headaches, I've been plagued with sore necks and the normal problems that people have. I found that through the course and joining the online community, I found a group of like-minded people all exploring the course. The course is fundamentally different. At first, I thought it was all about religion, which it wasn't, although it is about God, and I do believe in God, and it made a great deal of sense in my life that the only thing is really that we concentrate on is God. It's about finding love. It's about being kinder to people. I still listen to the teachings every day. I've found that by listening to the teachings and following the book and reading, I have become more compassionate. I've become a nicer person. I feel less guilty. I feel that the world is a different place. I don't feel that the world is always a good place. It's not. But I believe that it impacts me less. I used to be traumatized by the world. I used to lie awake and worry about things that are happening in my children and my life, and worry about my past and worry about the future. I've found that I've achieved a sense of peace. And if nothing else, I'm really grateful to Jono and the people I met on the course, because that sense of peace has helped me to heal many parts of my life. I no longer have headaches. I used to suffer with headaches. I used to have terrible neck pain that I was on painkillers on all the time. And honestly, those things have gone away. I don't take painkillers for my neck, and I don't have headaches anymore. My relationships with my children are much better, and my relationship with myself is a lot better. So in all, it's taken a lot of the jagged edges off of life, and it's just made life more bearable. And if you think about it, we're probably going to be here for a long time. So if it continues to get more and more bearable, and as I say, each day I learn a new lesson, and it does make life a little bit different and a little bit better, and I see things a little bit more clearly. And that to me has been the biggest gift of the course.
So there's Robin's testimonial. She was talking about two things, the Art of Letting Go course as well as a Course in Miracles, hence many uses of the course. But the Art of Letting Go course is really a way to help you to get into A Course in Miracles. I'll guide you through, as I'll show you, I'll guide you through the first 5 chapters and the first 35 lessons of A Course in Miracles. So just to summarize the results, key benefit number 1, you'll be authentically happy. You'll know how to let go of any negative thoughts or emotions, no matter how challenging the situation, provoking them appears to be, and be happy instead. Doesn't mean it's always easy to do, but you will know how. So I'm going to teach you a number of ways how. And if you know how, then sooner or later you're going to use that knowledge to let go, because it's going to be a part of your mind that's saying, well, hang on, you know what the cause of the problem is. And you know the answer. The answer is to let go. Key benefit number 2 is that you'll do your daily activities in flow. So it starts with being, and that being translates into doing. And that's really what flow is. Flow is happiness in action, where you're happy while you're doing what you do in your daily life. So it's not a teaching that's saying you just need to sit and be all day and sit in meditation all day. It's saying, no, translate it into your action. And that's what miracles of flow are really about. So you'll know how to remain poised and enjoy the moment while taking positive, harmonious action to respond to any situation effectively. Doesn't mean you won't be challenged. Doesn't mean there'll be times when you don't do it, but you will know how. You will have that knowledge, and so sooner or later you will get into flow through the process of letting go. You will get into flow, and you'll find that actually, whatever the situation is, you can find some enjoyment, or at least some acceptance of it. You can't actively enjoy it. You can at least not resist it and just accept it. And then benefits 3 and 4, you'll experience fulfillment, higher purpose, and well-being. So you'll start experiencing happiness and flow in every aspect of your life. And living a meaningful, extraordinary, ordinary life gives you and others miraculous experiences and results regularly. So it's be, do, and have the experience. And the ego tries to turn that all around and say, well, no, you need to have something, often something externally, a relationship, money, possessions, achievements, in order to do stuff. So, when you've got more money, then you can have all these nice experiences, which will make you happy. And that's all upside down thinking. It starts with being authentically happy moment by moment. And that is reliant on you being able to let go of negative thoughts and emotions as they arise. You will have them, inevitably. Life tests you, life challenges you, and the ego often speaks first. Negativity arises, but then if you can be aware of it and you know how to let it go, you can transform that situation into something where you're actually okay and you're in flow. That transformation is what the miracle is, and that's what this entire course, the Art of Letting Go course, is designed to teach you. To be happy, authentically happy, do your daily activities in flow, and experience fulfillment, higher purpose, and well-being. So what are the 7 key spiritual practices? I mentioned them already, but this is how they are incorporated, integrated into the Art of Letting Go course. So firstly, meditation. Get a 1 hour or a 40-minute version or half-hour version of a guided letting go theta meditation that's valued at £8, which you can listen to every morning. You get a power sleep track with binaural beats to help you sleep at night. £2. You get 2 live guided meditations from Monday to Friday, plus 1 on Sunday. That's £300 value. This is what Martin, who did the first course, had to say about this guided letting go theta meditation. I'll talk more about it later, but as to what's in it. But it's really about helping you to let go. It's got the 10-step letting go process incorporated into it. So you start off your day with a very deep experience of letting go. And he said it's been wonderful. It's really brought a lot of value to my life. Love the second part of it where you center yourself and smile. Very powerful stuff. So some of the benefits of meditation, there's been many, many studies on this. This is just one of them. A group of people meditated with a compassionate intent for just half an hour per day over a period of 8 weeks, which is about what you'll be doing if you just follow this program. You might be doing minimum half an hour, hopefully more. Find that they became less stressed, less reactive to other people's negativity and suffering, and more compassionate. And there's many other studies that regular meditation lowers your stress levels, boosts immunity, and improves mental and physical health and well-being. And I'll send you some links so you can do your own research and see those studies. So here's some of the benefits of regular meditation. Will lower your stress levels. It's about finding more peace of mind and poise under pressure, improving your mental clarity and concentration, raising your energy levels, helping you sleep more deeply, increasing your productivity and effectiveness, boost your immune system and general health, enhance your sense of well-being, slow down your aging process, help you live longer and feel younger, develop your intuition and creativity. It's amazing. I get some of my best creative ideas in meditation. Improves your ability to let go and forgive others, to experience more loving and harmonious relationships, will help you feel happier and more fulfilled, and continuously guide you to find your flow in life. Now, if you could patent a drug that did all of this, the pharmaceutical companies would have made billions, possibly trillions from this drug. But no drug will give you this. This is something that you have to practice. This is where the discipline comes in. To just sit and meditate using the techniques. There are many ways of doing it, but I will guide you to how to do this so that you experience all of these benefits. Surely it's worth spending half an hour a day to experience all of these benefits. So if you're not currently meditating, then this program will get you into a habit of regular meditation. And I'm also going to send you recordings of the live sessions. So if you don't make the live sessions, you get the recordings sent to you immediately via WhatsApp, which means you can listen to it. So there's a lot of meditation that you can do that will be facilitated by the course. So the value of those summed up is £377. There's the mastery course, the second part of the mastery course, which is forgiveness or letting go. So there's 10-step letting go process, instruction, and the written worksheets, which I will give you if you stay till the end tonight. So you will have that. So you can check that out, start using it. There's 6 other shorter letting go techniques in the Art of Letting Go course manual. So there's not just one. The idea is to teach you a number of different ways of letting go, and you use what works for you. As Chichi said, the letting go process is taught in the ALD course. Makes forgiveness seem so simple. A daily mind training lesson from A Course in Miracles, sent by email and WhatsApp. And if you add all of that up, £54. So I send you, I don't just send you the text, I send it to you with an image. So you can, some people I know put the image on their wallpaper on their phone. You can add that as a background in your desktop and your computer. You can use those images just as reminders to remind you of that idea, which is all about helping you to let go moment by moment. So the third key spiritual practice is breath work. And I incorporate mind training in there because it's very difficult to separate them. The way I've done it is I guide these little things called breath breaks, where you do some breath work and then I guide you through just reflecting on or contemplating, and sometimes doing a little mind training exercise that Jesus recommends in the workbook of A Course in Miracles. And all of that's bound up into an audio recording. You'll also get 7 powerful breathwork techniques in week 1 and a written instruction worksheet. Breathwork is so fundamental. I guide you through some of these fundamentals of breathwork. There's 2 audio recorded breath breaks, 3 to 15 minutes each. Guide you through practicing the mind training lesson for the day. That's from week 2 onwards. So I valued that at £2 a session, times 35. This is what a lady called Nadia had to say. So I was sending these breath breaks out, and she responded to one of them by saying, "I love these reminders. They really help me. I'm often busy scurrying around and lost in thoughts, and believing them. And these reminders are extremely helpful for me to take a pause and return to the here and now and stop freaking out." Like I said before, the one technique actually stopped the panic attack. So I sent it to her. She was having a panic attack as she got it, and she just did it, and it stopped it. Because you cannot panic, be in a state of panic and breathe deeply. Deep diaphragmatic breathing just makes it impossible to be in a state of panic. So so I hope you can continue saying them. Ground myself and remember who I am, and choose perception. Choose true perception. Another research study on what's called respiratory muscle training. So just by doing these conscious breathwork techniques, the studies show that you will have improvements in strength, speed, power, endurance, performance, peak inspiratory flow, maximal inspiratory and expiratory pressures have been demonstrated. So it's very good for your health and well-being in a nutshell. I've been practicing these techniques for many years, and I think it's definitely helped me. I'm 48 at the moment, and I certainly, most people say I don't look it. I look like I'm in my 30s maybe. Some people even think I'm in my 20s. And there's no doubt that the breath work and the meditation, they say eat healthily as well. It's a whole lifestyle, but all of that has helped my health and well-being. So it's found to make respiration more efficient, lower the perception of dyspnea. That means that you can't breathe, and improve performance in hypoxic conditions. So if you happen to be an athlete, I was a professional athlete, this will help your performance by teaching your body to work in these hypoxic, means it's a low oxygen environment. And I'll send you that link so you can go and do your own research as well after this presentation. So that's breathwork and mind training, daily emails and WhatsApp messages containing your daily mind training lesson with an illustrative photo, a related inspirational quote, an illustrative photo. So just to show you what that looks like. You may have been receiving these already, but you will get that something like this every day. A nice picture relates to the mind training lesson for the day. It just helps you to keep it in mind. I'm determined to see things differently, as an example. And you'll also get an ideal spiritual schedule for the day. You'll get links and attachments to the audio and video recordings in your emails and in the WhatsApp messages. So there's a number of ways of interacting with the content. There's images, there's audio, there's video, and all of it's designed to just help you to let go as you need to find peace, no matter what's happening in your daily life. So value of that's £85, which incorporated £43 is I've already included in previously, so we're not going to double count that. So here's some examples of emails that you'll get during the course, just to give you an idea. I'm just taking some snapshots. They tend to be quite long, so they're content emails. But you can save those. I'd recommend you save them in a folder, and there's your content. You can go and revisit those after the course with all the links and so on will still work. And then you'll get WhatsApp messages as well. So I send out the inspirational quote. I send you the mind training lesson with some messages, links to the reading for the day, and your audio recordings as well. And then you're free to post as well. People often post quotes and inspiring sometimes videos and so on as well. So as one said, discussions are always better than arguments, because an argument is to find out who is right, and a discussion is to find out what is right. Which leads me nicely into the fourth key spiritual practice, which is a group discussion session. So you'll get live interactive online discussion sessions from Monday to Friday and Sunday, in which you can ask questions about the mind training lessons and the text reading that we meditated on. That's about 7 hours a week, roughly. So £420 value. And as Wim said, there's a powerful dynamic in doing the course material together as a group and sharing energy. And it's all online, so you don't have to go anywhere. Plus, you get 1 or 2 recorded discussion sessions available every day from Monday through to Saturday. And if you add all of that up, it comes to £780. So this is a very key part of the course. Is actually connecting with others, meditating together, discussing together, and there's a lot of learning that comes through in these discussion sessions. If you have any questions, anything you want to discuss, that's the opportunity to do it. If you can't make the live sessions, you get access to the recordings, as well as some additional recordings. So 1 or 2 recorded discussion sessions come in your daily email every day. So there's a lot of material. It's not necessarily that you have to do all of it, but it's all available. Reading A Course in Miracles. So that's a spiritual text we're using. There's 1 lesson from the workbook in the morning. That's typically 1 to 2 pages long, and 1 section of the ACIM text, which is average 2 pages, sometimes a bit more, sometimes a bit less every evening. So put a £20 value on that. And then your daily emails and WhatsApp messages contain text for the daily lesson with the links to the audio and video recordings. I've mentioned that already. But you can start to see how all these components work together. It's quite difficult to kind of isolate them and separate them, because the components factor into a lot of these spiritual practices. So I'm not going to count that. The £43 has already been counted, so just the £20. Then we've got fasting and abstinence. So I included this quote: "The greatest enemy of hunger for God," or the truth, if you want to substitute that word, of something deeper, a higher reality, transcendent dimension to life. It's really what the word God means. Is not poison, but apple pie. It's not the banquet of the wicked that dulls our appetite for heaven, but endless nibbling at the table of the world. It's not the X-rated video, but the prime time tribble of triviality we drink in every night. So he's just referring to the news and what most people occupy themselves with. So this is recommended. There's no absolute must about this, but I found it very helpful to incorporate some fasting. We just did a course in January and February of this year, and I did this 16 hours a day, and I've heard it really worked for me. It's great, and worked for other people in the course. So between 12 and 16 hours a day, you just say, right, I'm not eating, just as a way of kind of detaching from food. One of those things that a lot of people are very attached to, hence the massive amounts of obesity in the world. It's a way of occupying our time, it's comfort eating, and this is about really detaching from the value and the investment you place on food. As a side benefit, you'll probably also lose some weight if you want to do that. It's also, fasting and abstinence also means not drinking or smoking or taking recreational drugs during the time, not watching TV, avoiding news. That's another way of abstaining. These are all things that really help you to let go of your habitual thoughts and emotions and open your mind to something else, which is why fasting and abstinence have always been associated with spiritual practice. So I recommend you do that. It's not a major part of the course. I just put it in place and say, well, off you go and do that. And if you want to talk about it in the discussion sessions, you're most welcome to. And then finally, the seventh key spiritual practice is end of day reflection. So just asking yourself 4 powerful questions at the end of every day while listening to the power sleep track, which I mentioned already. So that again just enhances it, puts you into an altered state. It helps prepare you for sleep by putting your mind into an alpha state. Or I give you a guided end of day reflection with the power sleep track embedded in it. So you can listen to that if you prefer, whichever way you do it. What this does is it just puts everything to bed, and it allows you to learn your lessons from the day. Just by spending a few minutes doing this, you can really save yourself a lot of time, because if you've learned a lesson and you really go, okay, what did I learn from the situation today? That's one of the questions. You don't have to keep repeating the same mistakes. So I've already counted the 2 pounds, 5 pounds is what I value the guided end of day reflection at. So, and this is what Patricia had to say. I think I had the best night I've had in a long time. I woke up feeling refreshed and had a willingness to start a new day. Thank you for the course. I'm finding it most helpful, she said. So it will almost certainly help you to sleep better. So just to summarize all of that in a table, it's the value you've got. The meditation component, 377 pounds. Forgiveness or letting go, 54. Breathwork and mind training, 85. Major part of value in the group discussion sessions, reading ACIM, fasting and abstinence, end of day reflection. All of that adds up to over £1,500, 1,571 in total. And then I'm going to give you some tools as well. I've mentioned some of these, but it's worth just talking about them a bit more explicitly. So this is the information exercise pack, or what I call the manual for short. So there's a 10-step letting go process, instruction, and written worksheet in there. I will give you that at the end of this session if you stay till the end. You'll also get instructions for 6 shorter letting go processes to help you to just release stuff quickly. It's a £6 value. 2 documents to help you understand the theory of letting go. That's £2. Worksheets for the manual game and flip your flop exercises. So these are really powerful transformational exercises that help you to really get into the core of your ego, to name your game. Okay, so how do you play the ego's game? And then how do you turn this game around? Flipping your flop is flipping your fundamental life operating program. That then leads into the blueprint for your higher self and purpose exercises. I'll give you worksheets for those as well. As Martin, who is CEO of quite a successful company, had to say, I really enjoyed all the little extras we threw in due to the manual game, became aware of my shortcomings, and with the help of the blueprint builder, was able to address them. So these things really add value. In fact, they're a core component of the course. In yesterday's situation where a client put the phone down and my ear has been replaced by peace. And he said, I would have found peace whether he apologized or not, because he subsequently apologized. Very powerful stuff. So he was learning how to apply this in practice in his business, his work life. There's 8 other transformational mind training exercises. It's an £8 value. There's 12 pathways to higher consciousness, which are included in the course. A map of consciousness to help you navigate the levels of your mind. Daily schedule planner to help you structure your ideal day once the course is finished. And some inspirational quotes and even some poetry. So if you stack all that up, that comes to £30. And however, I've already counted that part. So take away that, it comes to £25, which I've included. Then there's the meditation power pack. So a little bit more about this. I've recorded this guided letting go theta meditation as a multi-dimensional meditation. So there's breath work incorporated into it. There's touching, there's toning, there's breathing, there's color visualization. And 1 or 2 of those things will work for you. So it's a way of just entraining your mind into a deeper state through these mantras that use the different sensory modalities, kinesthetic, auditory, and visual. And this is what a lady called Virginia, who bought my CDs in the days of CDs. And I was on a CD about 10 years ago. She said, I've meditated to CDs from a couple of teachers, and although they served their purpose at the time, I was not able to experience the sense of completeness that your CD provided. The breathing technique for chakra balancing is just what I needed. It's good to come out of meditation feeling energized and deeply relaxed without having to physically exert oneself. Must also add the forgiveness exercise, which you included in the meditation, was invaluable. Going through this exercise left me with a sense of freedom and release. I absolutely love the energies I feel in the breathing exercises. I've already started experiencing strange but wonderful connections and meeting with strangers. Connections which has spiritually blessed me, left me in awe as to the way the divine works in the background. As I said in CD, practicing meditation will profoundly influence your life. And I really can't thank you enough. Truly the best aid to meditation I've bought to date, worth every penny. So you get that as just part of the meditation power pack, along with the power sleep track, which Robin said was really useful. When it ended and I drifted to sleep, I could hear each heartbeat. Because I'm sleeping better, I feel restful. My anxiety levels are definitely reduced. So a little ecstatic experience there. She felt every heartbeat, and she said she'd never experienced before. So that's £10, but I've already included that in the 1571. Then there's the holotropic breathing. So this is a transformational breathing technique that is pretty mind-blowing. It's not an exaggeration to say it's mind-blowing. It will take you into an altered state of consciousness where you may have many very what are called trippy experiences that could take you back to events in your life, could take you into past lives. All kinds of things can happen. It just depends on you. Some people just have a very peaceful experience. Some people have some pretty dark emotions coming up. But then it's about working through those and releasing them. So it is a mind-blowing experience, and we end the course off with that, literally on a high note. And remember, Phil had his breakthrough experience. Really, the holotropic breathing was the catalyst for that to happen. So who knows what you may experience. So in the UK, I charge £15 for that. Then you get 3 months access to the private Art of Letting Go Facebook. Actually, I'm going to give you 6 months. I need to change that on the slide. I'll give you 6 months access. So you get the next couple of months lead in to the course. The next course is starting in June. During the course, 6 weeks. And then afterwards, if you want to go and review anything, any of the material that's posted in there, you can do that. So that all comes to 1791. You'll also get some free bonuses. So this is about 150 hours. It's probably more, actually. I just kind of rounded it down. So 150 hours of video and audio recordings of meditation and discussion sessions during previous sessions. You can access all of that through the Facebook group. So in the meantime, before the next course starts, if you'd like to go in and explore some of that material, it's all available for you. I'll give you access to it, and you can listen to 150 hours if you want to. Robin said she would download these sessions. So because I give you the audio, you can download it and you can listen to the audio en route to work. Just being in the session that way and listening to what's said and shared collapses time from all the negative stress thoughts that used to preoccupy my mind, and that communes are now not there. I'm listening and applying the ideas. So that's how you can really make use of that. It's podcasts, really. You can download them and listen to them while you're driving, while you're working. And there's a lot of benefit. As Robin said, negative thoughts just disappear when you listen to stuff like that. And bonus number 2 is about 50 hours of audio recordings of high quality meditations based on Course in Miracles workbook lessons. A lot of them have background music and or nature sounds to them. Again, you can download them through the Facebook group. I am working on another platform, which will hopefully be ready by June, where all this stuff will be available in a sort of online course format. But I'm not going to promise it because it doesn't exist yet. So at the moment you can access it through the Facebook group. And this is what a guy called Mike, who did the first part of the Neuro course I ever ran, said, I find your meditation practice intertwined with the course content really works well. These little guided meditations in the lesson for today often show me things I would not have picked up before and give the space to view it differently. So hopefully you will experience the same thing. And what I've done isn't commonly available. You can find many free recordings of people reading the workbook and the lessons and the text of A Course in Miracles. But this is done in a different way. It's done in a meditative way. So the idea is to give you a much deeper experience. So if you add all that up, total value, nearly £2,200. So I'm going to give you a 90% discount on that, because I don't expect you to pay £2,000 for a course like this. But the value is there. I've shown that. Less an early bird discount, £21. Less a free trial discount of £101. And all of that comes to £97, which is in the region of 2,000 Rand. It's valid until midnight tomorrow. That early bird discount is if you decide now. And the reason I'm doing that is because I think it was Bill Gates who said, if you don't make a decision on something new, some new information that you've learned in 24 hours, you're unlikely ever to do anything about it. So in the next 24 hours, if you make a decision, I'm giving you a little incentive to do that. You lock in a lower price, £97, as opposed to £21 more than that, which is £118. My mathematics is right. And that's overall, that's about a 91% discount to value. So in terms of the dates and times, I did mention already, it's going to be starting in June. So Sunday the 6th of June to Sunday the 18th of July. It's a 43-day course. The following one will run from the 19th of September to the 31st of October. In terms of how the course is structured, there'll be live online meditation and discussion sessions from Monday to Friday at those times, so 1:30. Typically in the day, it's not a long discussion. We might only spend half an hour. It's a meditation and short discussion. In the evening, we can do longer discussions on anything that's at 8:30 p.m. South African time. Weekday sessions will last 20 minutes to 1 hour each, just depending on what comes up. Could just be a meditation, could be a discussion as well. And there's these live online meditation and discussion sessions on Sundays. So that's when we really dive a bit deeper. We do an expression session where you get to express what's on your mind, get to ask questions, and we discuss some of the course content as well as anything that's arising for you. So the course structure, this is what Mike had to say about the course structure. He said, I actually really like doing 2 calls a day. There's a different vibe in the 2 and different people. I'm getting a lot out of them. I think your teaching is very good. Clearly invested a lot of study into it and are able to discuss it at length with everyone and engage everyone. I think you do a great job of keeping the flow, finding an aspect to talk about, and many of your takes are very enlightening. And you do respect and impressed by your drive and teaching skills. I think your process is amazing, yielded great results for me. So I try and make these sessions interactive and engage everyone, but I'm obviously having to facilitate and guide to a point as well. So this is the structure of the course. There's an introduction, explore the theory behind the course, read and discuss the first chapter of the text, the work through exercises 1 to 3 in the Masterclass course manual, study and apply the first pathway, 7 pathways to higher consciousness, learn and practice 7 fundamental breathwork techniques. And then in weeks 2 to 6, we focus on working through the Course in Miracles text and the workbook. So we work through the first 35 lessons of the workbook, the first 5 chapters of the text, exercises 4 to 12 in the course manual, study and apply the last 5 pathways to higher consciousness. We learn and practice holotropic breathing. It's right at the end. So that's the structure. So come to the point where you might go, okay, hang on, there's some reasons why I can't do this. We call these roadblocks. You might be familiar with these in the physical world, but they happen in the spiritual world as well. That you just kind of get blocked, you get stopped, and you can't see a way to move beyond it. So what might some of those roadblocks be? Well, firstly, I don't have the time. So a couple of proposed solutions to that. Well, first of all, just don't watch TV. Use that as part of your fasting or abstinence practice, and go to bed an hour earlier so you can get up an hour earlier to meditate. So you're trading an hour of watching TV for an hour of meditation, which is a very good trade because television tells you your vision. Meditation gives you inner vision, a vision of something that's much deeper than anything in this world. You can also integrate the other key spiritual practices into your daily routine to make you more effective and productive. So for instance, you could take breath breaks when you need a break from work. Just stop, pause, take a few minutes, listen to the recording. I give you anywhere from 3 to 15 minutes. And I give you usually a shorter recording that allows you just to do a little 3-minute, 4-minute breath break. So that's a good strategy to just take a break and refresh yourself. And you can also listen to the discussion sessions while you're doing other activities, such as driving, put it on your phone or iPod or whatever. You can listen to while you're eating, while you're cooking, while you're walking, depending on if that's appropriate or not. But you can easily do those activities while you're listening, and the information just permeating into your subconscious, which is going to make a difference and allow you to get through a lot more content. You apply that strategy. And then you can save time on meals by doing a 16-hour fast every day. 12 to 16 hours. If you do 16 hours, it means you maybe only have 2 meals a day instead of 3 meals. You have lunch and dinner. So that saves you a bit of time eating, a bit of time snacking, and that creates more time for spiritual practice. So you might say, I'm not ready for this yet. Well, if you were under 30, then I'd say yes, but I think that you're both over 30. So that really is just an excuse to avoid taking responsibility for your own happiness, flow, fulfillment, purpose, and success. No one is going to do these things for you. It's up to you. In case you didn't already know that, I'm sure you do. But it's really about saying, okay, I really want to take this to another level, and really start to master my mind so that I can experience these consistently, not just sometimes, but most of the time. No one else is responsible for your happiness, your flow, your fulfillment, your sense of higher purpose and your success. Only you can do it for yourself. And your life will not last forever. 30 years pass by very quickly. Someone in my family's been trying to write a book for 30 years, and she still hasn't done it. And it's just, I remember back to those times, and I was like, wow, 30 years has just flashed by. So carpe diem, seize the day, and we'll give you all the tools and support you need to do this. It's a very facilitated, guided process. You're certainly not on your own. You'll get prompts, you'll get guidance, you'll get all the tools you need to help you to do this. So in response to this thought that you're not ready for it, just a couple of quotes from A Course in Miracles. Jesus says, this is A Course in Miracles in the introduction to it. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. So he's saying, look, this is required. Whether you choose to take it now or not, that's your choice. But at some point, we're all going to make our way back to truth. And just when and how you do that. So you can elect what you want to take at a given time. You can choose not to study A Course in Miracles, study the Art of Letting Go course now, but it's now in your experience. You've been exposed to it, you have the opportunity. So then you would actually actively have to say, no, I don't want to do this now, for whatever reason. And although Christian in statement, the course deals with universal spiritual themes, it is but one version of the universal curriculum. There are many others, this one differing from them only in form. They all lead to God in the end. And this is not God in the traditional sense of some kind of figure outside of you, some kind of father figure. This is a presence. This is the very essence of your mind, your own true being. This is where the course is pointing you to. It's about getting in touch with that. So the third objection might be that you can't afford this. So first up, I'll say this is your happiness, flow, fulfillment, purpose, well-being, and it's your life. If you don't invest in yourself in your life, you're really saying that you're not worth it, which is, of course, the entire problem. That's the problem that the course is designed to help you to rectify, that fundamentally we don't feel worthy. But if you're not even willing to undergo that process, then your lack of self-worth will sabotage you. So don't devalue yourself in this way. Action really is the most powerful form of affirmation. And so by paying for the course, you're telling yourself that you're worthy of all of it, of experiencing happiness, flow, fulfillment, higher purpose, ecstatic well-being, just having a really high quality experience of life. And by committing to this, paying is a form of commitment. You're really committing to your own transformation, which is an essential part of the process. Also ensures that you value and you pay attention to what you learn. Because too often, if something's free, we go, well, it's free, so there's no real value to it in your mind, and so I won't value it, which means you won't spend the time on it, which means that you don't get the benefits from doing the course. Secondly, what I'll say is I'm also going to offer you a 3-week free trial of this. So if you're not sure about this, you can try this for 3 weeks. If you like it, you continue and you pay. If you don't, well, you get 3 weeks free trial. That's what it means. You don't pay anything. Or a money-back guarantee anytime within the first 3 weeks of the course. So if you pay, then you save a little bit of money. You get your early bird discount. If you wait, well, you'll end up paying a little bit more. But that's up to you. If you decide you'd rather not continue with the course in the first 3 weeks, you'll get a full refund. That's only happened once. A lady called Reshma, I think I mentioned one of her testimonials earlier. She was really into reading the text of the course. And she didn't actually want a facilitated process. She just wanted to do her own thing. Well, if that's the case, that's fine. But then the Art of Letting Go course isn't for you because it is a facilitated guided process. And I'm going to give you guidance as to what you're going to read and which lessons and which text you're going to read. And I'm going to give you a lot of tools to help you to do that. So if you don't want a guided facilitated process, then this course isn't for you. The course is free. It's available online. You can self-study it. There's no problem with that. And many people have done that. But often the problem with that is people simply don't immerse themselves in it. They don't stick to the program. So the idea of a facilitated guided process is that you can really be guided into doing this properly. And if you do it properly and you start experiencing the benefits for yourself, then it may just really stick for you. And if it sticks for you, then you've got a spiritual path, because of course in Miracles is a spiritual path. If you'd rather not pay anything up front, you can do the first 3 weeks free and get the Letting Go Meditation Power Pack, the course manual, and 3 months access to the Ask Letting Go Facebook group, which is valued at £101. That's half of the course free. So there's no risk. You can try it. If you don't like it, you don't continue. If you like it, then you pay the £97. And if you still can't afford £97, you can do the solo version of the course. That includes everything in the Mastery course, except a live meditation and discussion sessions from Monday to Friday. So you'll still get the 1 2-hour live meditation discussion session every Sunday. That's approximately 14 hours. Just not able to attend the live sessions during the week. You can always upgrade if you wanted to. So your early bird discounted investment for the solo version is only £67. Course valued at £1,421, which is a 94% discount to value. So 1421 is a 93.7% discount there, £67, valid until midnight tomorrow. So I've tried to make it as affordable as possible. The idea behind this is to just help you to get into this, to try this. You could also do the course free. If you have £397, which is roughly 8,000 Rand available, you just park it for 6 weeks. And then if you do the following, you do all the meditation discussion sessions, you do 30 additional live sessions, you do all 12 exercises in the course manual, complete an online questionnaire, do a 30-minute interview and a 5-minute testimony at the end of the course. If you do all of that, which is really keeping yourself accountable to a high standard, then you can do the entire course free. So that may or may not work for you as an option. If you want to discuss that afterwards, then let me know. Can you afford not to do this, is my question. Your happiness, your flow, higher purpose, well-being, and your ability to thrive in life are really priced. We put numbers to all of this because we're talking in money, so we have to try and quantify value, but you can't really put a price on all of this. And these are priceless. They are beyond measure. So I'd encourage you just to dive in. You're not the slave of your own past, as Ralph Waldo Emerson says. Dive deep and swim far. So you shall come back with new self-respect, new power, and some advanced experience that shall explain and overlook the old. And that's what this is. It's a deep dive. It's letting go of the past, diving into the sublime seas, he calls them. So you will experience moments of absolute joy and well-being, ecstatic well-being, as I call it, during the course. And just generally a much better base state of happiness. And it's really about overcoming your deepest fear, which is not that you're inadequate, it's that you're powerful beyond measure. As Marianne Williamson said, and this is the quote I promised to share. Nelson Mandela quoted this when he came out of prison in his first speech. He said, our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So there's just a summary. It's £97, 1970. You can also do it as a couple. mastery course. I need to update that slide. Apologies for that. Because I decided just to make it £97 and give you a really good deal. Because the 197 has just been discounted to 97 because the free trial discount is incorporated into that. So you get the first 3 weeks free. The immersion course, just to mention that if you do want some one-on-one coaching, you can get 7 hours of one-to-one sessions on Zoom, which will allow you to just get individual personalized attention. You can chat about any issues arising in those. So that's $397, and then there's the immersion course. But just talk to me if you want to do that. So just to close off, I thought it would be appropriate to revisit the matrix. So if you remember, the matrix starts off when Neo is asleep at his computer, and Trinity hacks into his computer and writes, "Wake up, Neo. The matrix has you." And so he wakes up, and she says, "Follow the white rabbit." And he's like, "What? What's going on with my computer?" And then knock, knock, and there's a knock on the door. And he goes and he sees his friend, and he has a chat to his friend. He gives him something he's looking for, and he sees this white rabbit. So I guess this is the equivalent. This is a knock, knock. It's a wake up call for you. And question you have to answer is, will you follow me down the rabbit hole of your own mind to find your true self? So that's really what the Art of Letting Go course is designed to do. You'll find happiness and flow and sense of higher purpose and well-being, but really all of that is just a byproduct of finding out who you really are. And if you're not quite sure yet, maybe it's time you found out. So it would be my honor and my privilege to guide you down the rabbit hole of your own mind into a part of your mind that maybe has been locked away, and that is just waiting. It's calling you to discover it. So as Lao Tzu, who was an ancient Chinese sage who wrote the Tao Te Ching, said, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." So take that step now. You can sign up for the course. You can go to that website. I'll send you that website address tomorrow, so don't worry about taking it down. I'll send it to you via WhatsApp and email. And if you decide in the next 24 hours this is for you, you make a £21 saving on any version of the course by paying in the next 24 hours. You take Stripe. It's processed by a payment processor called Stripe, online and secure, and you can use any of those cards, Mastercard, Visa, or American Express. You can also pay directly into my South African bank account. If you prefer, give you my bank details. And if you like to do the 3-week free trial, so you don't want to pay, that's okay. You do the 3-week free trial. If and when you do, if you follow through, it'll cost you £21 more, but perhaps that's not too much of a problem. That's about another 20 times 20, about 400 grand or so extra. Or if you want to pay the $397 deposit and do the course free, or if you want to do the immersion course, that's 7 individual sessions, just message me and let me know. Or tell me right now. So that brings me to the end of the presentation. And I'm going to open it up for questions. Thank you for staying until the end. I appreciate it. And yeah, any questions? Just going to unmute you guys. All right. Let's. Kim, any questions?
Sure. There's a lot of information.
There is, yes. If you feel a bit like I've put a hose pipe down your throat, you'll be forgiven. But it's actually quite simple in essence. It's a facilitated, guided transformational process that I guide you through And if it resonates, if it feels right, then go for it. If you're not sure, then just sign up and give it a try. It's a 3-week process, and as the process unfolds, it becomes clear. It's as you've seen, it's a comprehensive process. It's not a course where you're going to do like one video session of an hour or two a week, because you're not really going to get much benefit from it. Unfortunately, your mind just doesn't transform unless you put in the time. I'm just going to guide you through that process over 6 weeks, so that ultimately, hopefully it becomes a way of life. You go, okay, well, it was doable for 6 weeks, so why not continue? And if you want to continue, there's a process. I've designed a 1-year program around A Course in Miracles, which you can continue on with. This is just the start. It's a taste to see if it works and if you like it. Lucky, any comments, any questions?
Oh,
Oh, was that a yawn?
come again?
Was that a yawn?
No, not exactly, but yeah, no, I was just saying, yeah, it has been a long,
Long day.
yeah, it went more than 2 hours, 30 minutes. Yeah, well, but yeah, it was a lot of information. Very interesting indeed. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to more. As you say, that it's not a matter of just one section, but it's a daily practice. It's an hourly practice as well. So yeah, there's a lot to learn. Transformation does not just happen in one season, but it happens in number of seasons. So
yeah, well, exactly. Well put. That's exactly what this course is based on. That principle of slowly but surely, every day, you're practicing these techniques, and it's just facilitated. Most people don't do it because unless there's some kind of facilitated process, you just don't do it. You just do what you normally do in your day, don't you? So it's an intervention. I'm intervening in your life and saying, okay, I'm going to give you this information. It's all formatted and packaged and delivered in as accessible a format in a way as possible, so that you can apply it, so that you can listen to the meditations or the discussion sessions. You can apply these ideas in your day, and that's when it makes a difference, because those ideas and these techniques can help you moment by moment to find more peace, find more happiness. To sometimes can as you saw with another lady, she got one of these just when she was having a panic attack, and it really helped her to let that go and not go into a panic state. So it's just moment by moment helping you in your daily life. And if you do that incrementally, and you keep living that way, in 6 weeks, you're going to be a different person. In a year's time, you'll be a very, very different person. And the results that you start to get are very different as well, because you're different. So it's what I call inside out success. It's about learning to, as I said, to thrive in adversity. So adversity often triggers negative thoughts and emotions. And this is about saying, actually, I can be aware of those, and I've now got a way to let them go, so that I can find a state of peace and relative happiness, even in adversity. And then I make different decisions. I see the situation differently. I make different decisions. I speak differently. I act differently. And that's what your life is made up of: thoughts, emotions, and then how you act, how you behave. So it's profoundly transformational. You'll find if you do the 6 weeks and you really do the process as well as you can, that it will change your life. I can guarantee it. But I give the 3-week free trial or the money back guarantee, because I don't want to take anyone's money if they haven't had a genuine transformation. It's not what I do. So, you can try this risk-free. You can get a lot of value risk-free. And if it's not for you, well, okay, you tried it. And for whatever reason, the process didn't work for you. But if it does work for you and you continue, all my students who've done the course, they've changed their lives. They go on to continue on this path. And the 6 weeks was just the catalyst, was the start of a life-changing transformation. So yeah, if you like to join it, it's just then how, do you want to do a free trial or save yourself a bit of money and just pay up front? It's 6 of one and half a dozen of another. That's up to you. But I'll leave that for you to decide. So I will send you an email in follow-up. You can get that tomorrow with a link to this presentation. You can go and watch it again. There's a web page I put up where there's more information and all these options are explained. Any more questions?
Yeah, Jono, I think it's just to recap on the live sessions. There's 2 a day, and then there's a 2-hour one on a Sunday. The kind of rough timings around that. There's a morning one.
No. So I did include it in there. Maybe I'll go back.
It was just.
It's 1:30. 1:30 in the afternoon. So the idea is sort of over lunch, you can just take a little bit of a time out and do the session. Those are typically 15 to 20 minutes. You can have a discussion as well if you want to. Quite happy to chat about anything that's arising, but it can be kept very brief. And then there's a session at 8:30 as well in the evening. So there's the slide.
Okay, all right. It's just
1:30 and 8:30. Those are live sessions. Just to clarify, those live sessions will be we'll be meditating on certainly in the evening on a section of the text that's a bit further down the track, because I've got a 1-year program going as well. So you'll get to meditate on something further on in the course. The 1:30 session, depending on who shows up, I might do a workbook lesson for that day that you're busy with in the course, or I might do one that's further down the track, because I've got a 1-year program running simultaneously. But in those live sessions, the discussions, we can certainly discuss whatever's coming up for you in the course, questions, content that you're not sure of. There's a format for that every day. You don't have to do these live sessions; they're optional. I'd recommend you do at least one a week, which is the longer one. These are just if you can fit them in, and it goes with your flow. It's quite a nice way to wind down at the end of the day, and so it's a nice way to pep yourself up in the middle of the day. It just creates a bit of a structure. So you go, okay, there's a live session happening. You're probably not going to do a recording yourself, but if there's a live session happening, you might just join it. And you jump into Zoom and you do a quick 20 minutes, and done a bit of meditation, refreshes me for the evening, and it's just getting yourself into a habit of making spiritual practice kind of an integral part of your life. It's really the idea. And if you can do that in 6 weeks, then why can't you do it on an ongoing basis?
Yeah.
It's not a course that you take. Often courses are, in the past you'd go off and you do a 5-day course or a weekend course, whatever. And you remove yourself from your existing environment, and that's great. And there's a place for that. And you really immerse yourself, and it's all wonderful. And then you get back into your regular daily life, and you go like, how do I apply this? It was so amazing on the retreat, and I had such so much peace, and and now, like, where's it all gone? I'm just caught up in my daily life. And so this is really about saying, okay, it's a course that you're doing while you're living your life. You're not changing it. You're not having to go anywhere or do anything different. Well, okay, you're gonna allocate your time differently, but you continue on, because then it's sustainable. At the end of the 6 weeks, you go, actually that kind of works. I managed that. I did everything I needed to do. In fact, maybe I was even more effective and productive, because that's what these practices help you to become more effective and productive in the world. Then you go, okay, well, this is very doable. This is a way I can live. It's not just a one-off sort of intervention. And then too often people backslide. They have the intervention, amazing, might last for a few days or even a couple of weeks, and then they're like, okay, well, a month after the program, I've forgotten it, and I'm back into the way I lived before that. And this won't, if you do the 6 weeks and you really apply yourself, and you do it as well as you possibly can, you're gonna change your daily routine pretty profoundly. And you go, okay, well, if I could do it for 6 weeks, I can do this on an ongoing basis, so why not continue? There's a saying that it takes, I think there's some research actually, that it takes three weeks to change a habit and create a new habit. So hence that's why I'm giving you the 3-week free trial. Try it for 3 weeks. If it's working for you and you go, actually, yes, I like this, I want to continue, and then you continue on with the process. You finish the course, which is a standalone kind of more course. There's various processes and practices in it, designed to facilitate a transformation in who you think you are. And then at the end of it, you then go, okay, maybe I'd like to continue on with this. And there's a 1-year program. There's 1 year of content that I've been developing over the last couple of years, where every day you get a message, you get lessons, you get breath breaks, you get access to live sessions that then just becomes part of the way you live. But the start of it is just sign up for the 3 weeks if you're not sure. If you want to commit to the whole thing and you're sure about that, then save some money, pay it's about 1900 odd rand, 1,970 rand for the whole course. And if you're not happy at any point, I'll give you your money back in the first 3 weeks. And you go like, look, I'm not happy for whatever reason. I don't think this is for me. Well, so there's really no risk. You can try it, see if it works. This will work. I think it'll work for you, Kim, because I know you've got quite a disciplined approach. You like a bit of structure, so it works for people who like sort of putting a few structures in place in their life, and also obviously wanting to grow spiritually, and just make that an important part of their life. And so it's not just something you do as a by the by when I have time. It's something that's just integrated into the way you live, which I think is how it has to be. In today's world, to really make it sustainable. Otherwise, it just becomes, okay, well, I do various courses and whatever. There's the course junkies, I call them. They'll go on a course or retreat. It's like they're looking for the high. They're still seeking somewhere outside of themselves for something that's like, well, great, I'll go on that because I get that experience. But it's actually the disciplined practice of these ideas and principles in your daily life that's going to make the difference. And so I've designed this course around that. And obviously online, really works for that, because you can just join wherever you are, home, work, car, wherever you are. You just log in with your phone, computer, however you want to do it, and you can listen. Or you can have the recorded material available through your phone or tablet, computer, however you want to interact. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, because I don't know if I'd be able to make all the sessions, but you say it's recorded, so you can.
Yeah, so I record them all on WhatsApp and I send them instantly to the group, so you have them straight away. So you can listen to those recordings. And you also get pre-recorded sessions. So there's one or two recorded discussion meditation sessions that were held in previous courses that I then give you an email, and I talk a bit about them. So you can download those and you could listen to those if you're driving. And the live sessions, if you miss them, you'll get those recordings on WhatsApp as well. And you're not going to make every session. I don't expect you to.
Yeah.
It's available. It's available for you. It's like, okay, it's there. I'm going to remind you of it. If you can join, great. If you can't join, okay, couldn't join. But then try and listen to the recordings.
Mm.
And obviously, if we get a group together, the reason why I batched and gone, okay, it's on the 6th of June, it gives me time to get a few people together. If you get a group together and a number of people are joining, it's a really nice spot. The most successful courses I've run have been one where there've been a few people and they're joining regularly. So they were joining at least every evening. And there was like a group energy and everyone would log in at the same time. And it was great. It was really a sense of a group momentum and energy, and people learned more. It's not just me speaking. It's like it becomes a discussion. People are contributing their things and they're asking questions. And so hopefully I can get a number of people to do it. And then those group sessions are really worthwhile to be there live, because you get the interactivity of it. And that a recording is the second prize. If you can get those interactions, there's a lot of really great material and just an energy transmission that comes through in doing those.
Okay.
So that's the live component. There's a recorded component as well. If you don't want the live component, you can just do that's why I call it the solo version, where you just do the recordings, get all that information, and once a week you join the live session, which will give you about 14 hours during the course, and you listen to recordings. But I'd encourage you to do the library, because there's a lot of value that comes in there.
I think so as well.
Yeah.
It does give more momentum, and like doing it as a practice. Like I think I have been a bit of a course junkie in my life sometimes, and I mean those intensive sessions are like a weekend or long weekend. It's really good, but I think it's for me personally, it's more about putting in a practice. Kind of started in the mornings, but this year, but just like you say, it's that practice and applying.
And that's what this is for. I mean, I used to run sessions like that. You came on some of them, weekend workshops, and retreats, and one-day workshops, and I loved them. They're great. But I always sort of felt a little bit like, okay, so I've done this, I've given this. How many people are actually going to go away and apply what I taught them? And the answer was probably very few, realistically, sadly. Because it's great experience, you learn them, and then there's no kind of structure for applying it. Okay, so I taught you some breathwork techniques. Okay, but if you don't structure that in, you're never going to practice them. So what's the point? You learn some new techniques, you had a nice experience. So I've designed this course as a kind of culmination of all the work I've done in this space. So go, okay, what this is really about is doing this on a daily basis and integrating it into your life in a way that's very practical and very doable. And obviously, with the online technology we've got now, it's I as a facilitator can send you this information. I can give you access to it wherever you are. So it's amazing. It's fantastic. And so that's what this course is about. So I'm saying, okay, well, I want to get into a disciplined practice of doing these things. It's part of my daily routine.
Yeah.
To help me, to feel happier, more peaceful, more loving, less stressed, to make different decisions, to get different results. You can't really quantify what this could mean in terms of your business, your career, financially, because you can't quantify this kind of energy and this kind of inspiration, but it can absolutely change everything if you really immerse yourself in this. You start to tap into a different energy. It's like, and if you're operating on a different energy or frequency, then what you do, what you say, and what you do are going to come from a different place, and that has a profound impact on everything you do, including your personal life, your business life. So it's very difficult to quantify. Okay, well, these are the results you're going to get. I tried. I said, you'll get more flow, and you'll experience more flow, and you feel happier. But you'll actually see tangible, measurable benefits in terms of like what's happening in your life and the results you get. If you are doing a process like this for 6 weeks and then ongoing, why would you stop? If you can do it for 6 weeks, why stop the process and get your own growth? Why not continue?
Well, you would have formed that. I mean, just if they say, or with once you form that habit and it becomes part of your life and you see the results, well, it's part of your life. Like,
yeah, why would you go back?
Yeah, I hope so.
Wouldn't make sense.
Well,
so that's what it's about, is helping you to establish a very powerful, disciplined spiritual practice as part of your daily life in a way that's manageable and doable for you. It's not going to overwhelm you. It's not going to be like, I can't cope with it. It's like, no, I've worked this out, and I absolutely can do these things. And in fact, they help me. They benefit me a lot in my daily life. So yes, well, why wouldn't I want to do these regularly? And if you've experienced the benefits of them, you will. And that's really that's a sustainable transformation. At the end of the 6 weeks, you go, wow, okay, really do this. And I really resonate with the teaching and the Course in Miracles particularly. You've now got a spiritual path for the rest of your life. I think too many people, we dabble. I certainly did before I came across the Course. You're looking for different ways and modalities, and it's all great. But at some point, you commit to a path, and you go, okay, well, this is my path. And I'm really it's not about going broader and gathering more little bits and pieces of information and techniques. It's about going deeper into it and really, really learning what this path has to teach. And that's that is the way of mastery. It's not going wide and seeking everywhere for answers. It's going deep into yourself, and you'll find the answers there. And this is just a way. I'm really just a guide to help you to do that in a pretty structured, systematic way that's doable. If you can do in your daily life and incorporate it quite easily. Any more questions? Lucky. Been very quiet. Still with us.
It's always great to listen to you, because there's more that is coming from you. So yeah, that's why I'm quiet.
Okay, well, that's good. If you sign up to the course, then you'll hear a lot of me. But it's really, I'm just a guide. I'm a facilitator. I'm just guiding you through these processes and these practices that are gonna help you to really go much deeper into yourself, and find out who you really are, and live from that place. So Yeah, I see Kim has left us. Thank you for staying till the end. I appreciate that. I was going to guide you through a meditation, but it might be a little bit late. What is the time actually? Would you like to stay and do a meditation? Is it too late?
I think I'll join next time for a meditation because I have to go now.
Okay, well, I'll send you because you stayed till the end. I'll send you a recording of that 10-step letting go process and a worksheet which you can work through to thank you. I'll also send you a follow-up email with a link to this recording and some more information on our webpage. So if you'd like to join, just let me know. Message me and say, yes, I'm in. You can do it on a paid basis up front, save some money, or you can just decide to go for the free trial. Any thoughts on that? Or you're not sure yet?
Yeah, no, great stuff. I will update you as you say later on those emails or maybe via WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Then we take it from there.
Okay, so just check out all the information. Kim, I was just saying you missed that. I'm going to send you a follow-up email tomorrow with a link to the recording of this, as well as a link to the meditation I promised you, the 10-step letting go process. It's probably a bit late to do it now. I'm quite happy to guide it. I tend to work late at night, so if you want to do it, I'll guide you through it now in preparation for bed. But that's up to you. Otherwise, you'll get the recording and a worksheet that goes with that, and a link to a webpage where you can watch the recording of this and get all the information about the process as well. So yeah, let me know. If you want to save a bit of money, get the early bird discount, just do it before tomorrow night. Otherwise, you can do the free trial. And that's just let me know, and I'll sign you up to the course. I can give you access to the Facebook group in the meantime if you want to go and browse around there as well.
Thanks, Jono. No, this has been really great. Thank you. Yeah,
well, thanks for staying. I know it's been a bit longer than I said, but we have had about half an hour of questions and stuff. So if you would like to do the meditation, as I said, I'm most happy to guide you through that. But it's too late and you need to head off to bed. That's fine. I'll send you the recording.
How long is it? It's 20 minutes.
Yeah, about 20 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to stay and do it? Or?
I don't know. Lucky, how do you feel?
Well, lucky you're saying you had to go, but it's fine. I'll just do it for you. Have you changed your mind, Lucky?
No. I was just waiting for you to wrap up so that I can then leave once you say we are done. Otherwise, for the meditation, I can join next time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll send you the recording, and you're most welcome to join us for the live meditations that I do in the afternoons, 1:30 if you want to join. I'll send you all the details in an email. So if you need to go, then thank you again for your time. Thanks for staying to the end. Check your email tomorrow, and I look forward to hearing from you. Let me know what you decide, or if you have any questions.
All right. Noted.
Okay.
Yeah, and this meditation was going to help me because I really want to develop this skill of being able to meditate. I've been trying to read another book called The Clairvoyance. Yeah, it's a very great book, but I've never finished it. I keep reading it and stop in the middle. Because one of the great tool about that book is that you need to master to meditate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay. Well, this will help you get into hopefully a good meditation practice, because meditation is one of the key things in the course. If you'd like to stay now, you're most welcome to. I'll guide you through. I think you'll probably find it helps you sleep as well. So.
yeah, I know. Let me join in next time on that. It's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right,
Enjoy.
Lucky. Okay.
Right. Okay,
Thanks
bye.
again. Speak to you soon. Have a nice evening.
Nice to meet you, Lucky.
Okay, Kim. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. So, Kim, if you want to stay, I'll guide you through the meditation. It's entirely up to you.
Sorry, John, are you asking me?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, sorry, it just went silent for a bit.
Did
Okay.
it?
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I do feel a bit, how should I say, sleepy, but I'll give it a go. I'd like to give it a go.
Yeah. No, that's fine. You can just kind of relax into it. If you sitting up in bed or whatever, make yourself comfortable. And
Better to be sitting up, right? Because it's got to be. Yeah, that was one. That's one thing I am struggling a bit and I remember when I've done your breathings when you send them over WhatsApp as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's because when you talk through it, when you say breathe in, like even tonight, I'm like, but I'm already at the top and I'm ready to breathe out, and I start to panic a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
so it's like, okay, well, sometimes I just like go, okay, well, why are you telling everyone to breathe in? I like breathe out and I breathe back in again because otherwise I start to panic. So that's where, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of breath work, so I can just hold my breath for like extremely long periods of time. So just do it as best you can. What I try and do is breathe in a 3 phase. And then you just hold the breath for maybe like 30 seconds, 40 seconds. And I try and to about that time and then say, okay, like exhale. But if you can't stick to that to that timing, then just, breathe out. Breathe out.
Yeah. Well,
it's also part of the training. So in breath holding is a technique in these meditations, you actually practicing that. And if you just push a little bit into the discomfort, you find you get better at it. You'll be able to hold your breath for longer periods, and you won't get that sense of panic arising because you become comfortable with it.
Yeah, I think it's just because I don't know when you're going to say breathe out. So it's like, because I've done one of your breath work courses before, and I know that when I practice, like, more you practice, the more you can hold it in. But I think it's because I'm following. I'm like, okay, so when you're going to say stop, so that's when I panic because I don't know when it's coming.
So then watch that. Just go, okay. So watch that anxiety as it arises and that sense of panic. And then part of your practice is just to go, okay, so I'm not going to get panicky. I'm not going to die. I'm just going to hold my breath for a bit longer. And if I really need to let it go, then I'll let it go, and then I'll just breathe out, and that's fine. But that anxiety is just because you feel like a bit out of control, and you're anticipating the future. So
otherwise I just let it go. It is what it is.
Kind of transmute it and go, actually, I don't need to feel anxious. I can just just chill out here, hold my breath for a bit longer. Just because physically I might be feeling a bit, like I need to breathe, doesn't need to make me anxious. And so now you start this process of disconnecting your mind from your body, being able to go, actually, my mind can just zoom out of all of this and not get emotionally affected by any physical stress. So it's really good. It's good mind training.
Yeah, no, it is. Or else, like, at least in the beginning, go, okay, well, I'll just let it go when I need to, and not, and then each time just try and do it for a little bit longer, but not, it is what it is. Acceptance. It's an acceptance.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That anxiety, and then don't feel like, oh, I failed because somehow I haven't held it up.
Yeah.
So there's
Not
all
because
these
I've done
little
it
things
according
going on,
to
but
your
it's all part of the
expectations.
unwinding.
Yeah.
It's all part of the unwinding of the ego.
Yeah.
So almost intentionally, I've incorporated the breath work and breath holds because it does push people's buttons, and it does give rise to some of these primal fears. Oh my God, I can't breathe. Am I going to die? And so now the panic arises, which is really just the ego. It's just going, oh my God, you need to breathe because you're going to die. Okay, just if you can just kind of let that go and stay there for a little bit longer, you'll find that just dissipates, and you can find a serenity beyond all of that. And I practiced breath for 6 months pretty intensively until I could break through and I could just hold my breath for like half an hour without any stress. But initially it was hard work. It's like whoa, like all of that really primal ego stuff of like survival instinct and panic and fear. All of that comes up, and then part of the process of holding the breath is just to go, okay, but I'm going to stay in a higher mind, in a higher state of mind, even though all this stuff is turning away. I'm going to stay in this, in this state of peace, while at the same time another part of my mind is experiencing some turmoil and some anxieties. So it's a very interesting spiritual practice. And in the end of it, I just broke through into a level where I was like, it's just not an issue anymore. I can just hold my breath, and there's no anxiety, and there's just peace. And that's ultimately where you want to get to. The breath can help you get there, no doubt. That's why it's one of the key spiritual practices I recommend.
Yeah.
Okie dokes. So you just want to make yourself comfortable and mute yourself. I'm just going to record this.
Okay.
And I might even play a little bit of music. I'm just going to stop the share. I don't do anymore. Okay, so all right. So just making yourself comfortable. Sitting comfortably, your feet shoulder width apart. Cup your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. Make sure your back is reasonably straight. Feet shoulder width apart. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. So breathing in. Through the nose, just noticing how the stomach rises, the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pause at the top of the inhale. Smile. Just check in with your mind and notice any thoughts or emotions going on. Particularly anything that feels negative, contracted, limiting, restricting. Just tune into that. And with the help of your breath, just going to let it go. So, a sense of releasing the thoughts, the emotions, any energy associated with them. With the help of your breath, blow it all out. On the exhale. Imagine it's like a dark smoke just leaving the mouth, letting it all go into the nothingness that it really is. Pull the lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. Just pause here for a few moments in stillness. Watch the breath. And then breathe in again. So nice deep breath in through the nose. Notice how the stomach rises, and the chest rises, the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clench the sphincter muscle. It's the muscle used to contract the flow of urine or squeeze the last drops out. Feel like you're just drawing this life energy up the spine to your heart center. Put one hand on your heart. Draw the energy up to the crown of your head. So it's a maximal inhale breath. Just feel the energy raising up the spine, rising up the spine. Finding some stillness. In the gap between breaths. Just really going into some stillness and peace. Smile. Now just bring to mind a situation, a person, a place, a circumstance, something that's disturbing your peace. Just notice what that feels like. So notice how that thought translates into physical sensation. Maybe there's a knot in your stomach, a tightness in your chest, clenched jaw, clenched fists, dry mouth, sweaty palms. And just breathe in to those feelings. Imagine you breathing a nice light, golden or white light. Just aware of all of this. And in that awareness, there's already a sense of some detachment. You're just able to observe these thoughts and emotions. As you exhale out your mouth, just have a sense of letting go of a little bit of your attachment to your investment in these thoughts. Reminding yourself that these are just images in your mind. The world is a dream. Anything you see in the world is a dream figure. Those images are part of the dream. You're living in an illusion. All we see or seeing is but a dream within a dream, said Edgar Allan Poe. Just exhale out on the truth of that. Find a sense of rest and peace at the bottom of the exhale. And breathe in again. As you breathe in, just remind yourself that everything in the external world is really a projection of your own mind. So there's nothing external to you. It seems that people have their own will, their own minds. They can behave in ways that you don't like. You can be hurt. You can be the victim of the world. But in truth, these are just projections of your mind. whatever you see externally is just a projection of an internal belief. So if you believe in separation and lack and limitation, project these beliefs out, and then you experience these things coming back at you. People might behave in ways that trigger your sense of lack or limitation, your sense of being a victim. And that just confirms to the ego that these thoughts are real, these thoughts are true. But they are not, so just remind yourself of that fact as you exhale out. Illusions are not true, the projections are not true. Have compassion for yourself and for anyone else involved in the situation, because we're all just caught up in this mad dream, caught up in the ego's belief system. It takes a lot of awareness to get out of it. There's a lot of mind training required, and most people simply have not done that. So they're caught up in the dream, they identify with the dream figures, they think it's all real, and they think it has the power to hurt them. And this includes you in the past. So just have compassion. These are like children. We're like children, just really not knowing what's good for us. What's good for us, what's going to hurt us. We have no real discernment. So breathing in again. This time just feel the emotions. So whatever the emotions, this situation, this circumstance, maybe there's a person or people involved, almost certainly there is. You just feel the emotions that all this evokes, and you really feel them. Just allow yourself to really feel the depth of whatever it is. It's fear, really feel the fear. Feel how it shows up physically in your body. Anger, feel the anger as a white heat in your body. Feel your jaw clenching, fists clenching. It's sadness, feel that sadness. Deep kind of enervating feeling in your stomach, in your heart, just a sinking feeling. Just feel all of these things fully, but be able to observe them at the same time. You can just watch the thoughts and watch the emotions. Take another sip of air and breathe in, and just surround these thoughts and emotions with some presence, some stillness. Immediately there's a sense of letting go. Now you're going to choose to just let go of all of this. Here's a conscious choice. You don't have to hold on to these thoughts. You don't have to feel these feelings. You can just let them go by choosing to. Use your breath to help you do that as you exhale. Imagine you just blowing it all out from your mouth. Just letting it all go into the nothingness that it really is. Lower stomach into the spine. Expel your last remaining air out. And just rest here for a few moments in the peace and the stillness. Just really noticing the peace that you feel when you let go. It's just teaching your mind that you do want to let go. You want the peace that arises when you do. So breathing in again. Just embracing the situation, giving thanks. Saying this is all perfect in its imperfection. Whatever the situation was, whatever someone did or didn't do, said or didn't say, it was all perfect because it brought this turbulence, this disturbance to mind. me to see a part of the ego still exists. And once I've seen it, which I have, and become aware of it, I can let it go. And in doing so, I free myself from the ego. Free myself from this mind that has enslaved me in humanity for so long. So it's all perfect in its apparent imperfection. And smile. So you feel the gratitude, just breathing in again. Feel the gratitude for this in your heart. Sense of overwhelming gratitude. It's the fact that you can always see everything differently. You don't have to believe in the ego's interpretations. You don't have to get upset and fearful and angry. Peace doesn't have to be disturbed. You can choose to let all of that go because they're just beliefs and find peace instead. Smile at that thought. Peace, happiness, love, joy, these are all yours. For the asking, you simply have to let go of your misperceptions that are blocking these. So do that now as you exhale. Just letting it all go. Imagine you blowing it all out like dark grey smoke out of your mouth. Putting a low stomach into the spine. Putting one hand on your heart center, just resting in your heart's presence. Resting in gratitude. Say to yourself, I have forgiven. I have let go of this situation. Is what you're saying when you're forgiven. So I've forgiven this person, this situation away completely. All is forgiven and released completely. And so we are one in love. Say that. We are one. You or anyone else involved in this situation, still one. Feel the love and the peace and the joy that arise when you do that. Breathe them into every pore of your body, every cell, every muscle, every corner of your mind, every fiber of your being, and just feel that oneness permeating your entire being. Smile. And exhale. Sigh it all out. Just time out of your nose. A sighing sound in the back of your throat. Air flow out of your nostrils. The chest and the stomach suck back in. And rest in peace and stillness at the bottom of the exhale. So just for a couple of minutes of silence, just step back, watch your breath. Breathe, relax, be still, and just surrender into the stillness. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about for the next 2 minutes. Just breathe, relax, and be in the love, in the beingness that you truly are, that reveal themselves when you let go. And any thoughts arise, just notice them. Imagine they're just drifting by. Cloud patterns, dark clouds. They have no power to obscure the light of the eternal source in your mind. So as you exhale, just blow them away with the breeze of your breath and sink back into the light. For another minute of deep silence. And so just gently, on the count of 3, you're going to come back into an awareness of your body, breath. So 1, just breathing in, notice how the stomach rises, the chest rises, subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pause at the top of the inhale. Notice that the light, hopefully connected with quite deeply, in that 2 minutes of silence, is still there. It's not, hasn't gone from your mind. It's always available, always accessible. So just anchor it in for the rest of the evening, on into tomorrow, with your breath, one hand on your heart center. Imagine light flowing into every pore, every cell of your body, every part of your mind, and all of this will keep you in the light. So it's said, so it is done. So exhale. Sigh it all out, keep your mouth closed, make a sighing sound in the back of your throat. The air flow out of your nostrils, chest and stomach. Suck back in. Pause at the bottom of the exhale. Smile. The light is still there, and you notice in the gaps between breaths. It's light arising in your mind. Notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, the feet touching the ground. Notice what you touching, tasting. As you breathe in, notice maybe there's a smell in your nose, taste in your mouth. Notice what you're hearing in the surrounding environment. Just noticing all these things from this very calm, surrendered state of mind. No need to name anything or judge it or label it. Just allow it to be. Okay. Sounds, sights, feelings, they just arise and they subside. Come and they go, they blow through the mind like cloud patterns. What you want to become more and more aware of is the awareness, the stillness that underlies them. This is the light. This is truth. This is the source of your being. This is where you will find all love, peace, joy, happiness. You will not find it in the cloud patterns. And so 3, as you open your eyes, just look around. Just letting your eyes rest randomly on a few things, no more than 2 or 3 seconds, and then move on to something else. But don't name whatever you're looking at. Don't judge it. Don't label it. Just allow it to be. And notice how peaceful and calm you feel when you're in this space. And anchor that peace and that calm in to your awareness for the rest of the evening. which will help you to have a very peaceful rest of the evening until you go to sleep, and hopefully a very deep sleep. So thank you for listening, and Kim for attending the masterclass, and namaste, which means the divine love and peace and joy in me acknowledges and honors that same love, peace, and joy in you.